It is the fall of 2003 in New York when we meet our leading lady, Katherine Chandler. Katherine goes to law school and is a part-time bartender. One night after closing the bar, she gets in her car to go home. Unfortunately, her car breaks down. She calls her mother to help. Soon, her mother arrives and starts fixing her car. While fixing the car, two gunmen come out of nowhere and start shooting at them. They shoot Katherine's mother and kill her. Katherine runs away to save herself. She manages to run into a forest, but the gunmen are right after her. She falls and is convinced that she is about to die. A gunman points his gun at her. Right when he is about to shoot her, some kind of beast comes out of the woods. The beast rips the gunman apart in a matter of seconds. After that, the beast turns to Katherine, who is lying on the ground. Katherine is scared for her life. The beast and Katherine look into each other's eyes. Katherine realizes that the beast might be a man. The beast grunts and leaves. Now 9 years have passed since the murder of Katherine's mother. We learn that no one believed Katherine when she told others that a man saved her life. According to them, some kind of animal attack had saved her. Instead of becoming a lawyer, Katherine is now an NYPD detective. One night, Katherine gets called to a crime scene. At the crime scene, her partner Tess advises her to date nicer guys. We also meet with her boss, Joe. The police have found a dead woman in a hotel bathroom. The following morning, Katherine and her associates discuss the possible cause of death. It turns out that they found some prints of the dead woman belonging to a doctor named Vincent Keller. When they check the records, they see that Vincent Keller was killed in action in Afghanistan 10 years ago. Katherine and Tess decide to investigate him further. They go to the hospital where Vincent used to work. At the hospital, Vincent's former co-worker informs Katherine that Vincent was very caring, but antisocial. We also learn he lost his brothers in the towers on September 11th and subsequently enlisted in the army. Vincent did not have many friends, but he had a roommate named JT. After that, Katherine and Tess track down JT to an abandoned warehouse where he lives. They enter the warehouse and knock at the door. JT opens the door and is a friendly-looking nerd. He is a professor of biochemistry at a university. They interrogate JT about Vincent and ask him if he has heard from Vincent recently. JT jokingly says that he has not heard from Vincent because he cannot hear dead people. While they are talking, someone is secretly looking at them. Frustrated, Katherine and Tess leave because they cannot search the warehouse without a warrant. After Tess and Katherine leave, JT runs upstairs. He goes to Vincent, who looks like a normal man with a scar on his face. JT is having a nervous breakdown and asks Vincent why his prints were on a dead woman. Vincent explains that he was trying to save the woman by giving her CPR. Vincent shows JT a newspaper clipping with the headline of the murder of Katherine's mother. He has been keeping this clipping around for all these years. JT is terrified that they are going to get caught and killed. Vincent says that he is getting tired of living like a prisoner. After that, Katherine goes down to the morgue. She meets her colleague, Evan, who is a medical examiner. Evan informs Katherine that CPR was done on the dead woman to revive her. Evan also informs her that he found cross-species DNA at the crime scene. Katherine is intrigued when Evan tells her that this DNA matches the one found at the crime scene of her mother's murder. Later that day, Katherine goes back to the warehouse alone. She goes to the second floor of the warehouse and finds Vincent hiding there. She pulls out her gun and asks Vincent to show himself. Vincent comes out and tells her that he did not kill the woman. He says that the woman was killed by poison and that he tried to save her by giving her CPR. Suddenly, she gets a phone call from Evan, who informs her that the cause of death was poison. Katherine cuts the call and asks Vincent how he knew about the poison. Vincent tells her that he could smell it on the woman. Katherine spots the newspaper clipping with her picture on it. She is about to freak out when Tess walks into the warehouse. Vincent asks Katherine to keep his secret of being alive. Katherine agrees to keep it a secret for now. She takes Tess and exits the warehouse. After that, she goes back to her office to solve the murder case. She finds out that an assistant had poisoned the deceased because the assistant was having an affair with the husband of the victim. Katherine arrests this assistant. Then she receives a call from the FBI telling her to meet. Apparently, she has asked them to verify the cross-species DNA sample linked to the one found in her mother's case. Later, she meets the officer on a subway platform. Suddenly, the officer, with the help of another guy, tries to attack and kill her. Katherine manages to take out all the attackers except for a woman who throws her into the tracks. However, the beast arrives just in time and kills all the agents. It looks at Katherine for a moment and runs away towards the subway tracks. She follows the beast onto the tracks, but suddenly, the train arrives. When she is about to get hit by a train, the beast re-arrives and pushes her to safety. When Katherine turns around, the beast has completely transformed into Vincent. Katherine realizes that Vincent is the beast. He is also the one who saved her 9 years ago. Later at night, they make their way into the warehouse. Vincent tends to Katherine's wounds. He narrates his story of how he became a monster. He tells her that after the 9/11 attack, he was devastated and furious about his brother's death. He left the hospital and enlisted himself in the army. There, he became part of an experimental program called Muirfield. Muirfield injected them to turn them into super soldiers. But the experiment went wrong, and Muirfield realized that these super soldiers were unable to control themselves. Muirfield killed all the super soldiers, but somehow Vincent managed to escape and has been hiding since. He tells Catherine that he sometimes goes out at night and tries to help the people in need. It reminds him of the time when he used to be a normal human. He warns Catherine that she has now got the attention of Muirfield. He asks Catherine to leave and never come back for her own good. The next day, Catherine goes to her office. There, a man pays Joe a visit and takes away the bodies of Muirfield agents that Vincent killed on the subway platform. Later that night, Vincent and JT are playing chess when Catherine walks into the warehouse. JT is confused as he obviously didn't know that Vincent and Catherine had been interacting. She asks Vincent to listen to her before kicking her out. She tells him that he is a hero for saving all those people, and that he is far from being a monster. Vincent informs her that Muirfield agents were after her mom, and she shouldn't feel responsible for her death. Catherine is shocked to hear this. Catherine is driving to her office when a cyclist crashes into her car. She gets out of her car to help this man. As he goes near this man, he pulls out a gun and shoots her. She manages to avoid the bullet and escape narrowly. She kicks the gun out of the man's hand. He gets up and they start fighting in the alley. Eventually, the man overcomes Catherine and, with the stripe of his bag, tries to strangle her. She is fighting for her life when suddenly Vincent arrives and throws the man in a car. As Vincent is about to rip the man apart, Catherine gets up and tells Vincent that she is okay. Hearing this, Vincent leaves. She goes to check on the man when another person from upstairs asks her if he should call the cops. She tells this person that she is the cop. The next morning, Catherine meets Evan in the morgue where her attacker from last night is lying dead. Evan tells her that the cause of death was blunt force trauma on his head. Catherine says that she pushed him away and he hit his head on a car. Evan is doubtful that Catherine killed this man because she is not that strong. She convinces Evan that she is the one who killed him. While they are talking, Joe enters the room. He asks Evan about the dead man. Evans tells Joe that it is a case of just self-defense. Catherine is relieved to hear Evan say this. The Muirfield agents meet in a dark alley at night. We see a man saying to another agent that he went to the morgue, and the samples were there as expected. He says that it is now confirmed that Vincent Keller is alive. The other agent says that Catherine is going to bring Vincent to them, and it is time to act. The Muirfield agents try to kidnap Catherine from the middle of the street. She tries her best to fight them. Eventually, the agents manage to get a hold of her and get her in their car. In the next scene, we see her tied up to a chair in an abandoned building. An agent from Muirfield comes up to her and asks for Vincent's location. Catherine denies having knowledge of any Vincent. The agent tells her that she is trying to protect a monster. Catherine says to him that their people sent Vincent off to war to be a killing machine, but 10 years have passed, and Vincent is not the same man anymore. She tells him that Muirfield agents killed her mother. The agent sits down and shows her a picture of an Afghan village. He tells her that Vincent has massacred the entire village. He informs her that Vincent is not some kind of protective beast, but something very lethal. He wants to take Vincent away to a place where he won't be a danger to anybody. He says that they will try to find a cure for Vincent. He shows Catherine a picture of her mother with the Muirfield scientists. He offers to give the truth behind her mother's death in return for Vincent. He gives Catherine his card and 3 days' time to contact him before they use other tactics to bring Vincent out. In the next scene, Catherine goes to her home, where Vincent is already waiting for her in the window. She tells Vincent that Muirfield kidnapped her and that they know that he is alive. They wanted his location, but she did not tell them. She says that it is her fault that she did not stay away from him. She tells Vincent that the best way to protect her is for him to stay away. Later in the warehouse, Vincent takes out his blood samples in various tubes and puts them in an ice bucket. He departs by leaving behind a note that says, "Proof I existed, take back your lives, goodbye." Later, when JT arrives at the warehouse, he finds that Vincent, along with all his belongings, is gone. He figures that Muirfield got to him and took him away. Seeing this, JT calls Catherine to blame her but suddenly spots Vincent's note. He tells Catherine that Vincent is going to turn himself to Muirfield. In the next scene, we see Vincent calling the Muirfield agent using the card they gave to Catherine earlier. He tells the person on the phone that he knows they are looking for him, and he is ready to come back. Meanwhile, Catherine arrives at the warehouse to meet JT. She sees Vincent's blood samples. JT tells her that it's their insurance plan. In case something happens to them, he is supposed to send this out so that the whole world can know about Muirfield. Catherine plans to track a Muirfield agent using his prints in her car. The agent drove Catherine's car when she was kidnapped. Through prints, they can track his phone and find Vincent. Due to a lack of better options, JT agrees with her. Soon, the Muirfield agents arrive at the location that Vincent gave them. Then, they call Vincent. Vincent agrees to turn himself to them on the condition that Catherine will not be touched again. He also tells them about his insurance plan. The Muirfield agent says that his superiors don't know anything about Catherine, so they will not harm her. Hearing this, Vincent comes out to them. At the warehouse, Catherine and JT are trying to track the location of the Muirfield agent's phone. They finally find out his location and storm out. Soon, they arrive at the location where they see Vincent and the agents. Vincent has been handcuffed in chains and tells her to go away. Catherine refuses and starts shooting at the agents. The shootout kills all the Muirfield agents. Vincent advises Catherine to go away and that he will dispose of the bodies. JT frees Vincent's hands from the chain and Catherine leaves. Catherine and Vincent decide to have an intimate dinner at her apartment. He is walking to buy flowers for her when suddenly his head starts hurting, and he stops. In the next scene, we see him waking up on the top of a bridge. He does not seem to know how and why he got up there. After a few days, we see Vincent waking up at night in an alley. His hands and shirt are covered in blood. He looks scared, as if he has done something terrible. The next morning, JT is monitoring Vincent's frontal cortex's activity on a computer. Vincent tells him that he blacks out and does not remember anything he does. Vincent advises JT that he should probably stay away from him. JT shows Vincent his backup plan, a tranquilizer gun that will knock Vincent out for a while. Vincent is also worried about Catherine's safety and figures that he should warn her. JT says that Catherine will turn Vincent to the police after learning that he is a danger to everyone. While they are talking, Vincent starts to black out again. As he blacks out, the Beast comes out. The Beast tosses JT across the room to the wall. The Beast comes towards JT, but JT pulls out the tranquilizer and shoots at the Beast's leg. The Beast was knocked out on the floor. Suddenly, Catherine knocks at the door. JT opens the door and nervously tells her that Vincent is not here. She asks JT to tell Vincent that she is going to Northam for a day with her partner. JT asks her why she is going to Northam. Catherine tells him about the gruesome murder of a fraternity boy that happened at university last night. JT realizes that Vincent is probably the cause of this murder. After that, Catherine leaves his door. After a while, Vincent wakes up. JT is standing beside him with his tranquilizer gun pointed towards Vincent. Vincent does not seem to remember a thing he did. JT informs Vincent that his frontal lobe was repressed when he was in a trance, due to which he was unable to control his feelings. JT also informs him that Catherine is investigating the murder of a frat boy that happened last night. The frat boy died due to multiple claws-like wounds and possibly at the same time when Vincent was blacked out. At the office, Catherine and Tess interrogate a former member of the frat group. He tells them that Derek, the guy who died, was a sadist and liked to bully other members of the group. He tells them about Welton Bell Tower, where they had fun all the time. Tess says that on the night of the murder, Derek got a call from someone asking him to meet him at the tower. They decide to go there and investigate. In the next scene, Tess and Catherine are in the tower. There, they find shoes and a balloon. They also see blood on the ground. Tess goes out to inform the station about this. Suddenly, Vincent comes out and tells Catherine that the killer she is after might be him. Catherine is shocked to hear this. Later in the warehouse, we see JT analyzing the blood sample found from the tower. He is checking if it matches the blood that Vincent had on him last night. Catherine and Vincent are also there. Vincent says sorry to Catherine for his troubles. Catherine tells him that he did not kill Derek because even when he is not himself, he always does the right thing. She tells him that she accepts him for who he is. Suddenly, JT turns around to tell them that Vincent is not the killer because the blood samples don't match. Vincent says that now they must figure out whose blood he had on his hands. Down at the morgue, Evan is figuring out all sorts of stuff about the case. On Derek's body, he sees a wound that looks like a check mark. He had seen this check mark before on a cadaver that was found in the middle of the university. He figures the cadaver was a test run for the actual murder. He also concludes that the killer had to be a student and decides to check the crime scene. He tells all of this to his fresh intern, Peter Hollingsworth. When Evan is at the crime scene, he video calls Catherine. When they are right in the middle of the conversation, Evan gets hit on the head and is kidnapped. Later, at the station, Catherine and her associates figure out that the intern, Peter, might be the killer. They figured that Peter practiced on the cadaver and got an internship in their office so he could follow through. He abducted Evan because he was getting too close. Catherine and Tess go to Peter's dorm and find a series of newspaper clippings of various murders under his mattress. They realize that Peter has been recreating famous murder scenes. Now, they try to figure out which crime scene Peter will try to recreate to murder Evan. Catherine spots a clipping of the Muirfield agents killed at the subway tracks. She decides that's the one that Peter will try to recreate. At the warehouse, Vincent and JT are trying to discover whose blood was on Vincent. Suddenly, Catherine arrives and asks for Vincent's help to track Evan in the underground tunnels. She says that the killer is recreating murders, and he will next be recreating the murder on the subway platform. JT is against the idea of the two of them going alone. They still decide to go, and JT gives Catherine the tranquilizer gun as a precaution. Vincent and Catherine are walking down in the tunnels. They start remembering the last time they were there. Catherine states that he saved her life. He says that he would do it all over again, but also mentions that taking a life is never easy for him. Suddenly, Vincent feels the blackout coming and he asks Catherine to tranquilize him, but she refuses to shoot him. Then, the beast comes out and tracks Evan, who has been tied to a pole on the other side of the tunnel. Peter is also standing near Evan. The beast tears apart Peter. Evan hears the whole attack and is scared for his life. After killing Peter, the beast slowly approaches Evan. Catherine arrives just in time and shoots her gun in the air, making the beast run away. After the beast disappears into the tunnels, she unties Evan. The next day, Catherine goes back to work and pays Evan a visit. Evan is having a hard time after being face-to-face with a serial killer. Evan is now convinced that he was saved by someone who was not entirely human. Later that day, Catherine goes to the warehouse. JT answers the door and asks her why she did not use the tranquilizer gun. She explains it was her only way to track and save Evan. JT walks to a metal door and opens it to reveal a cage with Vincent inside. Catherine sees him and is devastated. JT tells her that Vincent himself put him there. He also informs her that they have figured out what was triggering the blackouts, and Vincent tells Catherine that it's you. Vincent and JT have figured out a way to induce his blackouts using synthesized endorphins. During one of his blackouts, Vincent starts having a flashback about his past. In the flashback, we see Catherine's mother, Vanessa Chandler, in Afghanistan administering the injections. Later that present day, Catherine arrives at the warehouse. Vincent informs her that her mother was in Afghanistan and was probably part of Muirfield. After seeing the look on her face, JT asks if she already knew about this. Catherine tells them about the time Muirfield agent kidnapped her and showed her mother's photo with other Muirfield scientists. They are not happy to learn that she has kept this a secret from them. However, Catherine says that she did not inform them because she did not believe it to be true. After that, Vincent locks himself in the cage and JT starts to inject him to induce another blackout. It's because they want to learn more about his past and Catherine's mother. JT injects Vincent, causing him to black out. In a flashback, Vincent is hanging out with his platoon member, Lafferty. They talk about how the injected soldiers of their unit are starting to show increased strength. After Lafferty tells him that he wasn't too bad himself, she blacks out. In another flashback, he is working out when Vanessa approaches him. He tells her that he is ready for duty. Vanessa explains the reasons why she got into the project. She says she wanted to make the world a better place, protect her daughters, and save lives. Then Vanessa explains that blackouts are basically a side effect and that everyone's DNA responds differently to these injections. After Vincent's blackout, he wakes up and tells Catherine that she is not the cause of the blackouts. Catherine is processing that her mother wasn't just a regular doctor. He tells her that her mother was trying to find a cure for the side effects of super soldier serum. He says that her mother had a notebook that she always kept with her. In the next scene, Catherine goes to her father's house to look for her mother's old notes. She goes through her mom's boxes and JT is joining her by video call. They find the notebook that Vincent remembered from the flashback. She shows JT the notebook through her cell phone camera. JT manages to find some formulas there to cure the side effects, but he says that he needs equipment to replicate these formulas. He tells Catherine that they can get this equipment from a police forensics lab. Catherine plans to use Evan's lab equipment. Later, JT is terrified of infiltrating Evan's lab. Catherine tells him to enter through the back door of the morgue and prepare the serum within a couple of hours. After that, Catherine enters her office. Tess is annoyed at her for leaving her alone. Catherine goes to Evan's office and asks him to join her in a raid at a manager's apartment. He agrees and leaves with her. Soon after, JT enters Evan's office. He starts using the equipment to make the antidote serum. JT is wrapping up his antidote vials when Tess enters the morgue. Luckily, JT managed to hide his stuff and put on a lab coat. Tess notices him, but JT gets out successfully. JT goes back to the warehouse to test the serum on a mouse and then on Vincent. Unfortunately, Vincent is in his beast mode and is having flashbacks of memory. Vincent remembers the day when super soldiers went out of control and Muirfield decided to kill them. He finds Catherine's mom, who is arguing with a general. The general tells her that the monsters she created are out of control and will have to be killed. But she is against the massacre of these soldiers and wants more time to figure out the cure. The general decides to kill her too. At that moment, Vincent turned into the beast for the first time and attacked the general. The general cut Vincent's face with a knife, creating the scar we know today. Back in the present, Catherine arrives and tries to calm the beast down. She manages to bring Vincent out. Catherine is relieved that Vincent and JT are fine. Suddenly, Vincent injects the untested serum into his arm arm, hoping that it will either cure him or kill him. She runs to stop Vincent from injecting himself. However, she is unable to stop Vincent, and the only thing left to do now is wait for the serum to react. At night, when Evan is leaving his office, Tess meets with him. She asks him about the new intern she saw today when Evan was out with Catherine. Evan looks confused. She asks him if everything is all right. Evan answers yes and leaves. Later that night, Catherine goes to her mother's grave. Catherine forgives her mother for what she did and chooses to believe that she had good intentions. However, she still feels responsible and wants to fix the mess she left behind and make it right. Vincent is also there listening to all this behind a tree. Catherine goes to him. Vincent assures them that they will make it right. He informs her that the serum worked because he is no longer having any blackouts issue, but there is still a beast inside him. Tess is working at her desk when Evan comes up to her. He asks Tess to identify the person posing as his intern by looking at the footage of that whole day. Evans tells her that this posing intern was using his DNA analyzer. Evan says that he is working on a secret project about genetic mutations, and that person was probably here to steal this project from him. After that, Tess agrees to look at the footage. Later, Tess identifies the person and gives his image to Evan. The next day, Evan goes to meet JT in his office on campus. Evan asks him about a paper that JT published on cross-species DNA 8 years ago. He tells JT that he has evidence that a cross-species creature exists. He is onto something groundbreaking and needs an expert in biochemistry. Evan asks JT to join him in his research, investigation, and the fame they will get after publishing their paper. JT agrees. Evan and JT try to match the DNA found on a newly murdered biker to the cross-species DNA. In the lab, they analyze it, and it matches the cross-species DNA. Evan is happy that now he can report it to his boss, Joe, and hunt this creature. JT is worried because he thought they would try and find a cure for this creature. Evans tells him that they will find a cure, but only after they have captured it. Suddenly, his blood samples get corrupted, making Evan unable to track the creature. JT is relieved to see this. Later that day, a lady meets a man in a restaurant. She tells this man that Evan was on to Vincent, but she corrupted his samples just in time. The lady assures the man that they will get to Vincent before the police and continue their Muirfield project. Meanwhile, JT realizes that someone from Muirfield has bugged Evan's lab and has been sabotaging his research. He brings Evan out of his lab, offering to buy him a soda. Evan asks JT what's the matter, seeing that JT looks worried. JT tells him that there is a secret organization that has spent billions on creating genetic weapons. Maybe they are the ones who are sabotaging Evan's work to cover their tracks. JT informs him that there is more at stake than a small grant that Evan is hoping to get from his work. Evan asks JT how he knows all this. JT says that he just knows and tells Evan to stop searching for his creature. Evan accuses JT that he might be the one sabotaging his work and then leaves to continue his research. Later, we see the Muirfield lady secretly taking photographs of Evan's work in his lab, but she gets caught by Evan, who grabs her from behind. Evan asks her who sent her and why she is here. The lady answers that she was sent by the organization that created the cross-species creature that he is after. She tells him that it was a mistake, and the creature is vicious. They are trying to hunt it before it kills any more innocent people. She asks Evan to join them in their hunt for this creature. Evan agrees to join them. Catherine goes to her apartment and sees Vincent already waiting there for her. She tells Vincent that they should take things slowly and naturally. Vincent asks her what she really wants. Vincent slowly moves towards her. He leans in to kiss her, but they are interrupted by Catherine's sister, Heather, who has seen everything. Catherine and Vincent walk out on the rooftop. She tells Vincent that she does not want to put her sister in any kind of trouble by telling her about him. Vincent calms her down. He advises Catherine to tell her sister that he is nothing more than just a random guy from a bar. Vincent says that Heather has no idea who he is, and that she does not know anything about his past life. Vincent jumps off the roof and leaves. After that, Catherine goes inside the apartment where Heather is eagerly waiting for her. Catherine tells her that it was just a random guy she met in a bar. Heather is not convinced and asks to meet him. Heather convinces Catherine to invite Vincent over for dinner. Later, they have dinner, and Heather also has invited her boyfriend, Darius. Darius is the brother of Catherine's boss, Joe. The dinner goes well. The following night, Catherine and Heather are in a club with their boyfriends. Soon, Catherine leaves the club. Later, some thugs pull Darius away from the crowd and take him outside of the club. Apparently, Darius owes money to these thugs. They point a gun at him and demand their money. Heather also comes out looking for Darius. She sees the gun and threatens thugs that she will tell this to her cop sister. The thugs knock her out and plan to kill her by asking Darius to pull the trigger. Darius takes the gun and is about to pull the trigger when the Beast arrives and saves Heather. The Beast sends Darius flying against the dumpster. Then, the Beast kills a couple of the thugs but fails to kill the third. After killing them, Vincent checks on Heather. After verifying verifying that Heather is breathing, Vincent moves on to Darius, who has died. Later that night, Catherine goes to her apartment and finds Vincent there looking miserable. He tells Catherine that he has killed Darius. He says that Darius was going to shoot Heather. He threw him away and accidentally killed him. She asks if Heather is all right. Vincent assures her that Heather is fine. Suddenly, she gets a call from Heather and leaves to see her. Catherine goes to Heather and comforts her. Evan and Tess also arrive at the scene and discover the claw marks on Darius's body. Joe breaks down by looking at his brother Darius. Catherine also cries not just for Heather, but for herself and Vincent. The next day at the office, Evan calls Catherine and tells her that it was the work of the cross-species creature. Evan is convinced that the creature is somehow connected to Catherine and that it is circling her like a predator to its prey. He tells Catherine that he is scared for her. Catherine tells him not to worry about her and leaves. We see Evan handing over his research to the Muirfield agents in a closed room. The agent looks at Evan's reports. The agent asks Evan to report to them if he finds anything new and tells him to leave. Evan is upset because he wants to join and have a position in Muirfield. The agent tells Evan that he is not Muirfield material. Evan gets angry and shoves the agent against a wall. Another agent standing in the room points a gun at Evan's head and asks him to leave. Meanwhile, Tess and Catherine are at work. They are talking about their love lives when Joe arrives and introduces his new assistant district attorney named Gabe Lowen. Joe tells them that Gabe will be here in the office to ensure the capture of the vigilante. We also learn that Gabe has brought a couple of cops named Garnett and Newell to help him. Later, Catherine arrives at the warehouse. She starts by telling Vincent that she is afraid for his safety. She talks about the manhunt that Joe is planning by bringing in extra cops only to capture Vincent. Vincent mentions that he always knew he would end up dead, but thought it would be in the hands of Muirfield. He is also upset about the newspapers painting him as a cold-blooded killer. Catherine thinks if they find the thugs who were pressuring Darius, then they can prove that Vincent was only trying to protect Heather. On the other hand, Vincent seems to only be worried about Catherine's safety. He describes how 2 years ago, when his adrenaline kicked in with a woman, he couldn't stop from changing. Catherine asks if he killed that woman. Vincent assures her that the woman has managed to escape. Catherine tells him that when she is with him, he controls himself better. Vincent replies that he does not feel more out of control than when he is with her. In the warehouse, they discuss that Darius had borrowed a large sum of money from a loan shark from the East River crime syndicate. Darius took the loan to start a VIP lounge that didn't make any money. That is why the thugs were after Darius. Catherine has information on a man called Ross, who may know people in the syndicate. Ross might be able to help them to find the man who got away the night Darius died. But Catherine can't go, because if Joe finds out she's trying to prove the vigilante innocent, she will be in trouble. Vincent decides to go alone and interrogate Ross. In the next scene, Vincent goes to talk to Ross in a bar where he works. Vincent poses as a veteran who needs some quick money to pay off some foreign loan sharks, and that they will kill Vincent if he does not pay in time. Vincent offers weapons to Ross as collateral. He asks Ross for money. Ross quickly calls his boss at a distance. Vincent hears that the boss's name is Ray, and then leaves immediately. Soon after, Catherine tracks down the details of this Ray and takes it to Evan. He tells Catherine that they need some bigger evidence against Ray for a warrant against him. She also learns that Joe's cops are also following the same leads, and they may fabricate evidence to get the warrants they need. Evan asks her how she found out about Ray. She replies that it was just a hunch. When she leaves, Evan passes on the information that he may have a witness who saw their creature up close to Muirfield agent. Muirfield still refuses to give him a bigger role in the investigation, so Evan doesn't pass on the name. He tells the agent that he will handle it himself. Later that night, Catherine calls Vincent to her apartment. She tells Vincent that Joe's cops are onto Ray, and they may get to Ray before Vincent. If the cops get to Ray, he will easily lie to them and say that he was an innocent bystander and saw Vincent kill Darius in cold blood. Ray is a member of the board of a museum that is having an open gala tonight. Catherine and Vincent plan to go to this mask gala, hoping to capture Ray. At the gala, Catherine flirts with Ray and arranges for him to meet her alone in an exhibit to give her a tour. We also see that Gabe and Evan have also turned up for this event. In the closed exhibit, Catherine holds Ray at gunpoint. Ray calls her a bitch and points a gun at her. Suddenly, Vincent jumps on Ray in beast mode. She threatens Ray that if he wants to live, he will go to the police and admit that he is the one who ordered Darius to kill the woman, and the vigilante was just a normal guy who saved the woman. Ray agrees to do everything that she asks. After that, Ray leaves and runs into Evan. Evan notices that he is shaken and wants to ask about the monster, but then Gabe arrives. Ray tells Gabe that he has something important to say and takes him to a room and closes the door. Ray wants full immunity to be a witness, saying that the vigilante only acted to save Heather's life. but Gabe is more interested in what the vigilante looked like. The next day, Evan gets a call from Muirfield congratulating him on doing the right thing. Muirfield thinks that Evan found the witness before he could speak to the police and killed him. Evan is confused. He checks the newspaper to see that Ray's body was found in the basement of the museum, and Muirfield thinks that he did it, and, on the strength of that, Evan is now in. Catherine, Evan, and Tess are dragged into a conference where Joe dissolves all their partnerships. Joe puts them on a new task force, entirely focused on catching the vigilante, and Gabe says he wants cops who focus on justice above all else. Later at night, Catherine goes to the warehouse to warn Vincent about the new task force. Vincent already is aware of the task force through a press conference. Catherine says that she is part of this force and will keep an eye from the inside. She tells Vincent that he should not be afraid of anyone. She assures Vincent that he can never hurt her, and then they make love. The following morning, Joe and his cops find a man murdered in the back of a horse-drawn carriage in a park. Joe is convinced that it's the work of the same vigilante. Soon, Catherine arrives there. Joe is angry at her for being late. Catherine instantly expresses doubt about the case being connected to the vigilante. She claims that no innocent victim was being protected in this murder, like in the previous cases involving the vigilante. Joe's judgment is clouded because the vigilante killed his brother, and now Joe wants to blame the vigilante for this murder too. Gabe also shows up and announces they've had a massive increase in funding to capture the vigilante. Gabe also objects when Joe talks about killing the vigilante rather than prosecuting him. Gabe talks to Catherine alone. He is not convinced when Catherine tells him that their vigilante might not be involved in this murder. At the station, Evan examines the body and does not find any cross-species DNA. Catherine asks Evan to tell this to Joe and express his doubts about the vigilante's connection to this crime. Evan points out that the absence of evidence means nothing, and the victim does have claw marks. After that, Catherine leaves, forgetting her scarf behind. Evan picks up her scarf. Later that day, Catherine and Vincent look at the carriage. They think that someone is trying to frame Vincent. They decide that it can't be Muirfield, because Muirfield would never want this kind of attention. With Vincent's super senses, they find something sharp caught in the horse's shoe. In the next scene, Evan gets in a taxi and finds that there's already an occupant. The agent from Muirfield is inside who has an assignment for Evan. He asks Evan to stop the task force from catching Vigilante. Muirfield wants Vigilante caught but not by the police. With JT, Catherine and Vincent study the sharp thing they found. They discover that it's a spike from a weapon named the Morning Star. Catherine declares that based on the crime scene she saw, it's part of the murder weapon. Catherine returns to Evan with her proof. Meanwhile, Evan tested Catherine's scarf and found the cross-species DNA. Evan thinks she's protecting the vigilante. She protests that she's been to plenty of crime scenes causing her to be contaminated. Evan says that he just wants the truth and to protect her. She reminds Evan that the vigilante saved his life. Evan replies that he will do whatever he can to get the vigilante. At the warehouse, Vincent, JT, and Catherine sum up that Evan's against them and know that Catherine's connected. Joe is out for blood, and so is Gabe. There are two loose cops on the force who don't care about laws. They launch a desperate plan to fake Vincent's death. JT gets a body from his campus research lab with a plan for it to burn in a fire in the warehouse. Catherine decides that she will mess with Evan's samples in the lab, so that Evan would not be able to figure out that the body was already dead before burning in the fire. Catherine begins their plan by sending Gabe the address of the vigilante. He passes it on to the station. Everyone is excited to catch the vigilante. The police load up and head out. Meanwhile, Tess hears of a lady who was saved by the vigilante. Tess meets with this lady to ask some questions. When asked by Tess, the lady describes that the vigilante was moving like a big cat. He was growling and had glowing, yellow, cat-like eyes. Tess notices that it happened near an underground access. She decides to go inside to have a look. JT goes to meet Evan to offer him his research and to see if he shared it with anyone. Evan tells him that he has given up his research to Muirfield. JT also finds out that Evan has passed on the address of the vigilante to Muirfield so they can get there before the police move in. Suddenly, Muirfield attacks the warehouse with Vincent and Catherine still inside. They escape through the emergency exit. Soon, the police arrive, and one of the troops shoots the barrels that Vincent had set up. The barrels explode and create a huge fire. The emergency services gather as Catherine and Vincent run through the tunnels under the warehouse. They are in the clear and decide to be careful in the future. Catherine goes to see Joe. Joe stays outside the burned warehouse to make sure that the evidence is collected properly. She says that they got him, and Joe agrees. Gabe rings Joe. Joe tells him there's nothing they can do because the vigilante killed himself. Joe assures Gabe that the vigilante is dead. Gabe hangs up and turns to his cops, Garnett and Newell. He tells them that he needed the vigilante to be alive and captured before the rest of the team got to him. They say it won't happen again, but Gabe points out he's dead. He kicks them out of his home. Then, the camera focuses on a morning star that Gabe has on his wall. The morning star has a spike missing. Tess is still wandering in the underground tunnels and runs into Vincent. She calls on him to stop, but he runs. She holds him at gunpoint and demands that he turn around. He turns around, showing a veined face and golden eyes as a disguise. He roars at her to go. Tess shoots him in the stomach. Suddenly, Catherine arrives and runs to him, screaming. Tess sees Vincent shift to a normal person after being shot by her. Vincent tells Catherine to give her a knife so he can take the bullet out. Tess asks Catherine if he is the serial killer they are after. Tess tried to call for backup but could not due to no signal in the underground tunnel. She runs away to get out. Vincent tells Catherine to run after Tess while he is taking the bullet out. She immediately runs after Tess. As Tess is about to get out, Vincent drags her down. In a panic, Tess bites him, and Catherine hurriedly explains the whole soldier experiment thing. Suddenly, JT arrives and shoots with his tranquilizer gun, making Tess unconscious. JT wants to run because he's sure that Tess will expose them. Even Catherine thinks that's possible because Tess is a cop who sees things in black and white. Vincent is confident in the relationship between Tess and Catherine to protect them. Meanwhile, JT doesn't trust Catherine's bonds of friendship to protect them and tells them that Evan has joined Muirfield. In the end, JT decides to deliver Vincent's DNA samples to the morgue to make everyone believe that he is dead. Vincent and Catherine decide to stay with Tess. Later, JT goes to see Evan in the morgue. He tries to switch the burned body sample to Vincent's blood sample, but cannot, because Evan looks very alert. Suddenly, Catherine arrives. She distracts Evan, which allows JT to switch the sample. In the tunnel, Tess wakes up and sees Vincent sitting beside her. Vincent explains to her that Catherine kept the whole military experiment thing a secret. Tess questions about what Catherine sees in Vincent. Vincent and Tess talk and get to know each other. When Vincent goes to get water for her, Tess tries to run away. Vincent quickly catches her and tells her that she needs to talk to Catherine to protect her, not him. He lets her go and gives her a gun. He asks her to find Catherine and talk to her. Later that day, Catherine sees Tess walking down the street. She runs out to Tess and they try to talk. Tess is furious about Catherine lying to her for a year, and Catherine gives her the case files Vincent has been involved in all the way back to her mother. Tess still thinks that Vincent is not above the law. As Tess's best friend, she begs Tess to trust her. Tess demands Catherine to turn Vincent into the police. She says that she will cover for Catherine, but only if Catherine turns Vincent in. Catherine refuses and drives off. After that, Tess rings Joe to tell him that they caught the wrong guy. Someone else picks up. Tess asks for Garnett and Newell to meet her. Catherine runs to the tunnels to tell Vincent and JT that Tess is turning them in. Tess works her way down into the tunnels with Garnett and Newell. She notices that they've brought a cattle prod and questions why they have it. They tell her to hang back and that there's more going on than she knows. She points a gun at them and asks who they are. When they try to take the gun from her, she hits one of them and runs away. One of them shoots her, and she falls into the fast-flowing water. Meanwhile, Catherine and Vincent are still in the tunnel and arguing about what they should do next. They stop arguing when Vincent hears the cops coming. Garnett and Newell spot Vincent, but Vincent and Catherine manage to defeat them. They start to head out, but Catherine worries about Tess. Tess is stuck in a water-filled tube. The bullet seems to have hit her vest, but she can't get out. The water is rising, and the exit is blocked by a gate. Luckily, Vincent finds her in time. He rips off the metal gate and pulls Tess to safety. Catherine arrives, and Tess cries in her arms, sobbing that she's sorry. After that, Catherine and Tess arrive at home and they talk. Tess points out that she now understands why Catherine didn't tell. Tess asks her if Vincent has ever hurt her or any innocent person. Catherine assures her that Vincent is not like that. While they are talking, Joe calls Tess. She tells Joe that it was a false alarm and that Garnett and Newell never showed up. At the station, Joe shouts at Gabe that his men Garnett and Newell didn't back Tess up when she needed them. He tells Gabe that Tess nearly drowned in a storm drain when Catherine arrived and saved her. Gabe apologizes and assures Joe that he will never have to see Garnett and Newell again. Later, Gabe goes to the tunnels and finds claw marks on a wall. He realizes that the vigilante is still alive. Vincent and Catherine have a quiet moment at her apartment window. They start kissing, and Evan sees them while walking by. Vincent jumps from the high-story apartment and walks away. Meanwhile, Evan has seen everything. The next morning, Evan is in a bar having a drink. The Muirfield agent enters and comes up to him. He asks why Evan has called him so urgently. Evan informs the agent that he has found their creature, and it is hiding in the tunnels. The agent gives him a panic button for emergencies and leaves. Evan notices some guys stalking him. He gets up and punches a man in the bar and gets arrested. Soon, Catherine comes to see Evan in the lockup. Apparently, he had called for Catherine. Evan tells her that he knows about about her monster boyfriend and that she should stay away from him. Evan says that he only wants to protect her and that's why he called her here. After realizing that Evan has sent Muirfield to kill Vincent, she quickly runs outside. In the tunnels, Muirfield agents are searching to hunt Vincent down. Vincent senses their presence. He climbs up the walls and escapes. Later, Catherine and Vincent meet in a park. Catherine starts blaming herself for not being honest with Evan sooner. She wants to convince Evan that Vincent is not the monster that he thinks he is. Vincent tells her that eventually, Muirfield is going to stop asking Evan nicely about where he got the info, and Evan will give up Catherine. After that, Vincent decides to have a word with Evan in the subway. He asks Evan not to call Catherine if he doesn't want Muirfield to track her down. Evan brings up Vincent's murders. Evan says that he knows better than Catherine about what's good for her. While on the train, Evan leads Vincent into an ambush. Vincent gets shot with drugged darts from a Muirfield team. JT goes to see Catherine and Tess. He shares the news that Vincent went after Evan and that his tracker has been jammed. In Muirfield's building, Evan has been in the waiting room for an hour. He gets bored and comments on all the lockdown labs to catch just one guy. He manages to steal a keycard and starts snooping around. Inside a records room, Evan finds a heavily censored file under Catherine's surname. It's Catherine's mother's file. He also finds a letter that is even more disturbing to him. Outside the Muirfield building, Tess, Catherine, and JT plan how to get inside. They take out the electric fence by bringing down the local transformer and removing the power. Catherine bypasses the voice recognition security door using the voice of Evan's Muirfield ex Claire. Catherine manages to get inside, but trips an alarm. Vincent is being kept in a cage, and Muirfield boss named Agent Kyle goes to talk to him. He describes the terrible things they intend to do to Vincent. This is overheard and watched by Evan. Kyle leaves to check the security breach. Agent Kyle runs into Evan wandering through the building. They fight, and Agent Kyle asks Evan who has broken in. Evan does not say, and Kyle shoots Evan in the stomach. Meanwhile, Catherine, infiltrating her way through the building, finds Vincent's cage. She releases Vincent from his cage. While escaping the building, they find Evan and decide to carry him out. While escaping through an underground tunnel, they run into a closed steel door. Vincent tries to break it down. Suddenly, the Muirfield agents arrive and start shooting at them. Evan quickly runs and stands in front of the bullets to save Catherine. Catherine is devastated by Evan's death. Vincent grabs her and escapes through the steel door. After a couple of days, Vincent meets Catherine on a train. Catherine says that Evan took all the blame on him, and now everyone considers him to be the mole in the agency. He tells her that Evan's death was not her fault, and that he cannot live without her. In the early morning, Joe goes to Gabe's home and rings the bell. Gabe answers the door and inquires about Joe's reason to come. Joe tells him that he wants to capture the traitor Evan and put him through the trials. Gabe advises him that putting Evan in trials will create problems for the station. Gabe ensures Joe that he has his own men after Evan and will soon capture him. At the station, Catherine is sad about Evan's death. She tells Tess that she went to Evan's apartment and the place was ransacked by someone. She has found a photo of her with Evan in his home and shows it to Tess. Tess feels guilty for not telling Joe about Vincent and Evan's death. Catherine forbids her to say anything to anyone. Suddenly, a man with blood all over him enters the station, asking for Catherine. The man drops to the floor. Catherine goes to him and asks his name. The man says that she does not have much time and then dies. Tess conceals a keycard found in the man's clothes. She gives it to Catherine to find out if he works for Muirfield. At night, JT and Vincent are at an alley to investigate the man who died in front of Catherine. Vincent is sure that the man worked for Muirfield. In the alley, they find another dead Muirfield agent, some rats, and the dead guy's cell phone. Later, Catherine and Tess figure out that the person who broke into Evan's apartment is Gabe. Catherine goes to Gabe's office to confront him. She accuses him of being a Muirfield agent. In a flashback, we see that Gabe spent his childhood at Muirfield. Catherine's mother was one of Gabe's doctors too. They were using Gabe for harvesting blood and tissues. Back to the present, Gabe tells all of this to Catherine. Gabe says that he has read Evan's journal. After reading the journals, Gabe concludes that Evan and Catherine were after the vigilante. Evan went behind her back and Muirfield killed him. Now she wants to find Muirfield and get revenge for killing Evan. Catherine asks Gabe if he is not with Muirfield, then why he wanted to catch the vigilante so badly. Gabe explains that he only wanted to protect him and wants to hunt down Muirfield too. Catherine is still suspicious and leaves the room. Later, at Catherine's apartment, she and Vincent watch the footage retrieved from the dead man's phone. The man says that he was her mother's student and tells Catherine that no one knows about her. He says that Muirfield is vulnerable because they are moving their operation, so it would be a good time to take them down. He starts getting shot and says, "Go to the orchard." As the video ends, Catherine says that they must follow the lead and destroy Muirfield. Vincent disagrees, saying that the whole thing might be a trap. He also advises not to trust Gabe. He asks her to give him some time to figure it out. The next morning, Catherine goes to Gabe's apartment. Gabe shows her the rest of Evan's journals. She opens a journal that says, Orchard Industries, with an address. She tells Gabe about the message that the dead guy left for her on his phone. Gabe offers to go with her to the orchard, but she turns him down, saying that she will go alone. At night, Tess and Catherine go to Orchard Industries. Tess distracts the guard while Catherine enters the building. She arrives at a locked room and uses the key card lifted from the dead agent. She gets in and finds all of Muirfield's servers. She tries to access the server, but it asks for a password. She has Gabe on the phone, who is remotely assisting her with the break-in. Gabe suggests trying Chimera as a password, and it works. With the help of his girlfriend Tyler, Gabe instructs Catherine to download the files to his computer. She also finds Vincent's file there. Realizing that Gabe will have access to Vincent's file too, she tries to stop the download. Gabe's girlfriend tells him that if the downloading is interrupted, they will lose everything. Vincent hears this because he is spying on Gabe from a nearby rooftop. He calls JT to ask him to track Catherine's phone. Soon, Catherine turns around and finds Vincent standing behind her. Vincent turns into the beast and starts breaking the servers. Muirfield agents are alerted by this. Suddenly, a fire starts spreading in the room, destroying all the servers. The beast takes Catherine in its arms and escapes. The next morning, Catherine meets Gabe in the car outside the Orchard building. He informs her that he did not get anything from the downloads. She asks about the Chimera password. Gabe tells her that it was the name of the original study he was part of in Muirfield. She tells Gabe that her mother had a Chimera necklace. In a flashback, we see Catherine's mother wearing a Chimera necklace and smuggling Gabe outside of Muirfield. She handled Gabe to his new foster parents. Back at the present, Gabe gets out of the car and approaches his girlfriend Tyler standing nearby. Gabe tells her that the doctor who saved him might have been Catherine's mother. Tyler shows him a picture of the server wreckage, hinting that their vigilante was there too. They figure that Catherine is involved with the vigilante. Later, Catherine meets Vincent in the tunnels. She advises staying together to protect themselves and to put an end to Muirfield. Vincent agrees. He tells her that he has found a new place and takes her there. A few days later, Catherine is worried that she might be pregnant. She takes a pregnancy test but is relieved when it comes out negative. Vincent informs her he does not want to have a baby and that it will be too dangerous. Catherine assures him that she also does not want it right now. Vincent tells her that they will never be able to live a normal life as a couple, but Catherine is satisfied with the way they are. Later, Catherine and Tess go to a hotel where Gabe is currently staying. They arrive at Gabe's suite. Gabe asks Tess to go and get him a coffee. When Tess leaves, Gabe shows Catherine the photo of the server wreckage and says he knows who did this. Catherine refuses to acknowledge anything. Gabe loses his patience and his eyes turn yellow. He is about to turn into the beast. She pulls her gun on Gabe, but Gabe controls himself and tells her that he has medication to suppress his DNA. That stops him from turning into the beast. Unfortunately, he has developed a resistance to the medication, and that's why he wants to study Vincent's DNA. According to Gabe, Vincent was injected with the upgraded version of injections and can control himself better than others. Gabe proposes a deal: Vincent's blood in exchange for his medicines. After that, Catherine heads out without saying anything. Catherine goes to Vincent and tells him about Gabe's offer. Vincent is convinced that it must be a trap to capture him. She advises Vincent to meet Gabe, saying that they will be able to live a normal life. It will be beneficial for everyone. Eventually, Vincent hesitatingly agrees. Later, he meets JT at a club. JT shares surprising news. The pill that controls Vincent's beast side is still working. If it keeps working, Vincent might be fully cured soon. Meanwhile, Tyler and Gabe talk about strange science experiments involving someone's body. After the serious talk, they awkwardly make out. Once they leave, JT breaks into their place, showing he's ready to fight back. Catherine surprises Vincent with fake IDs and a plan to run away. She tells him she never wanted to settle down until she met him. Vincent feels touched and promises to make a happy life with her. But then Catherine's father calls and asks to meet. While they talk in the street, someone pushes her dad into traffic. At the hospital, Catherine donates blood. Heather shows up again, needing comfort, but Catherine decides to investigate instead of resting. Vincent waits outside to support her, but Catherine says he's not a beast anymore and can't help in the same way. Vincent feels useless. JT then warns him that Gabe and Tyler plan to dissect him. JT grabs a bat and destroys Gabe's lab gear to buy time. At the precinct, Catherine tells Tess she suspects M is behind her dad's accident. Tess gently tells her to focus on her family. Catherine agrees, though she's still emotional. At the same time, Gabe tells Tyler that he's going to bring Vincent to their deadly plan. Since Vincent's weak point is Catherine, Gabe kidnaps her. Tess keeps her promise and finds someone to unlock Mr. Chandler's iPad. In a funny moment, the guy simply bangs it on the table to turn it on. Inside, there's an email from Homeland Security with a photo of Agent Reynolds and a message saying he's back in the country. Reynolds and his assistant arrive at Gabe's apartment to track him and figure out who destroyed the place. Meanwhile, Gabe takes Catherine to his large estate. She starts remembering being there as a child. They talk about what it means to be human, or a beast. Gabe uses Catherine's phone to lure Vincent, then locks her in his old bedroom. Tyler, who is Gabe's girlfriend, buys a centrifuge but ends up kidnapped by JT and Vincent. They try to use her to get Catherine back, but Gabe refuses, showing he doesn't care about Tyler's safety. Tyler feels shocked but still helps Vincent. She tells him that using a vaccine to boost Gabe's immune system will trigger his beast form. Vincent decides to save Catherine alone, hoping for a normal life with her. At Gabe's estate, Gabe starts to tell his sad story about being adopted, turned into a beast, and accidentally killing his mother. But before he finishes, he begins to transform again and leaves the room. JT watches over Tyler. They bond over science talk, but Tyler uses the chance to knock JT out and run. She escapes the house but runs straight into Agent Reynolds, who shoots her on sight. Tess finds JT and frees him. JT tells her what's going on. Back at the hospital, Heather finds out something shocking. Catherine's blood doesn't match her father's, which means he isn't her real dad. Vincent finally gets to Gabe's estate, fights a guard, and rescues Catherine. As they escape, Catherine tells Vincent she loves him no matter what. Gabe shows up and throws a car at them. Vincent fights him, and Catherine sneaks back to grab the vaccine. She injects Vincent, and he becomes a beast again to fight Gabe. The fight is tough. Suddenly, a helicopter arrives. Reynolds and his assistant shoot Gabe and trap Vincent in a net. Catherine grabs his hand, holding on as he's pulled away. Just before leaving, Reynolds stops his assistant from shooting Catherine and reveals she's his daughter. Catherine uses a defibrillator to bring Gabe back to life so he can help find Vincent. 3 months later, Catherine hits up JT asking if he's got any clues on where Vincent might be. JT says no, and he's worried about her. At the precinct, Tess also tells Catherine she's worried, reminding her how Joe got obsessed trying to find his brother's killer, and it cost him his job and Tess her boyfriend. Then Gabe tells Catherine that JT might have found a lead on Vincent. They head over to JT's spot to check it out. Even though facial recognition didn't match anyone on the footage, Catherine wants to dig deeper. On the way, she calls Tess for backup, but messes up and calls Heather instead. Heather reminds her about the tribute for their dad tonight, and Catherine promises she'll be there. At the shipyard, Vincent is tied up in a chair. A man shows up, steps out of his car, and tells Vincent he created him and knows what he can do. He says he wants to make Vincent more valuable. Just before the man can inject Vincent with something, Vincent breaks free and attacks. Right before he's about to kill the man, Catherine shows up and the guy bails. Vincent goes after Catherine, but JT and Gabe come in and shoot him with tranquilizers before he can hurt her. When Catherine checks Vincent out, she notices his scar is gone and he doesn't remember her. Back at JT's place, Gabe asks if he can stay until Vincent wakes up. He says he wants to earn Catherine's trust and fix things. Catherine tells him they don't need his help, so Gabe leaves. When Vincent wakes, they find out he doesn't recognize either of them and can't remember anything before 3 months ago when he got captured. To keep him from running off, JT shows Vincent a photo of them from 11 years ago, proving they know each other. Catherine has to leave because Heather texts that she's late for the tribute. She asks JT to keep Vincent from escaping. The guy Vincent attacked, Lee Zhao, calls Reynolds, furious someone tried to kill him. Reynolds threatens to shut down Muirfield, but Zhao reminds him the FBI looked into him 15 years ago and he'll go to the press if they try. After the call, Reynolds talks with an FBI agent about using Vincent again to go after Zhao. At the tribute, Reynolds talks with Catherine about her dad. Meanwhile, JT tries to find out what Vincent's been up to in the last 3 months, but Vincent warns him if he keeps asking, he'll have to kill him. Just as Catherine is about to speak at the tribute, JT calls, saying Vincent escaped, but JT shot him with a tranquilizer. Catherine feels bad and rushes to help JT. She plans to track Zhao, but doesn't know Gabe is headed there too from the precinct. Vincent gets to his houseboat and calls his handler. The voice is computerized, Reynolds hiding who he is. When Vincent asks about Catherine, Reynolds tells him to forget her and focus on killing Zhao. Catherine follows Vincent tracking Zhao. JT tells her Vincent's DNA was changed to help him hunt like a predator. Vincent attacks Zhao in his lab and Catherine follows. Gas fills the room and Catherine starts passing out while calling Vincent's name. A fire breaks out nearby. Vincent lets Zhao go to save Catherine. After escaping, Catherine smiles and tells Vincent this is how they first met, him saving her life. Reynolds hears Zhao got away again and says he'll send Vincent after him again. At Catherine's place, Vincent says sorry for not remembering her. Catherine tells him they'll figure it out, and they belong together. When Catherine asks why Vincent was after Zhao, Vincent tries to leave, but Catherine starts crying, saying she just wants them to leave Vincent alone. Vincent warns her not to ask questions. Catherine asks to stay, and they share a kiss. Suddenly, Heather texts Catherine, checking if she's okay. Catherine reads it and starts crying. Vincent hugs her. Later, Catherine wakes up to Tess calling about a murder. She finds Vincent gone. At the crime scene, Li Zhao is dead. apparently killed by some beast. Not far away, Vincent shows up in beast form and walks off, shifting back to human as he disappears. Catherine and Tess sip coffee watching Gabe on the news. Gabe tells everyone Li Jiao got mauled in Central Park. Tess warns Catherine that Vincent's not the same guy anymore. Gabe says Vincent should handle his own mess, but Catherine thinks Vincent deserves some payback on Muirfield. She's dead sure Vincent won't ever hurt her. Later, Catherine hits up JT's place. JT wants to celebrate Muirfield being done, but Catherine tosses his Tums and talks only about finding Vincent and having a rooftop picnic with him. JT warns her Muirfield's programming won't just disappear over some food. Catherine grabs a picnic basket and starts searching the streets for Vincent. At the FBI, Agent Tucker tells Reynolds Vincent is missing. Since Vincent mauled Li Jiao, Reynolds figures his violent programming is still running wild. That night, Catherine waits alone on the roof. Vincent shows up and she thinks maybe he remembers what the roof means to them. Vincent surprises her, says he just saw her come up and wonders why she's been following him. He looks kind of flattered and open to the picnic idea. But when Catherine brings up his mission, Vincent thinks she's just after info and jumps off the roof. Catherine runs after Vincent and calls JT for backup. Gabe calls too and guides her. Catherine gets pissed to find out Gabe's been watching her apartment like a hawk. She updates JT on Vincent's spot, not realizing she just let Gabe and Tess in on her teaming up with him. Catherine chases after Vincent's cab. At Rikers, Vincent shoots a dude named Carlos with some non-lethal stuff that makes him seize. Dr. Derek Braunstein questions Carlos about some asset. Outside, Tess calls Catherine, warning her not to follow Vincent into Rikers. But Vincent surprises Catherine, knocks her out by pressing her neck, and shoves her in the back of her own car. On Vincent's houseboat, Catherine wakes up tied to a chair, blindfolded. She tries to figure out what Vincent's thinking, wants to build trust. Vincent doubts their epic love story, admits showing up at the roof was dumb. He wants to be a good soldier but says Catherine and her heartbeat mess with him. Catherine guesses kidnapping her was his messed up way to connect. Vincent snaps no more questions, but Catherine stays calm, says she knows who he is and could have burned him already if she wanted. She reminds him he can tell when someone's lying. At the precinct, Tess hopes Catherine's safe and just trying to reach her amnesiac boyfriend. Gabe tells Tess about Carlos and Vincent's fake identity. Back on the boat, Vincent tries getting ready for his next beast hit, but Catherine's heartbeat keeps distracting him. He offers her water for motion sickness, and Catherine says acupressure works better. Vincent unties her, says sorry for yelling, admits if she hadn't been looking for him, he'd have come to her anyway because of some pull. He also confesses kidnapping her was just an excuse to spend time with her. At Catherine's place, JT eats her picnic and tracks her phone. Tess bickers with JT about beast hunting and tries to crack Catherine's car GPS password. On the boat, Vincent says he remembers random stuff like 90s pop culture, but no personal memories. They made him a better soldier. Catherine asks better soldier for what, but he dodges the question and asks about their first date. Catherine tells him about their secret, weird relationship, the rooftop, how he tried to push her away, and how she refused to quit. Vincent stops making a sandwich to ask about their first kiss. Catherine tells him as he moves closer. She hopes reliving moments might trigger his memory. Vincent leans in and kisses her. He says he doesn't remember, but they kiss a few more times. Catherine hints they did more than just kiss, and Vincent gets it. Later, lying in bed, Vincent says if he knew what a picnic was, he wouldn't have jumped off the roof. When he gets a call, they get dressed. Vincent ties Catherine back to the chair, says he's scared she'll follow him and get hurt. At a parking lot, Tess's jealous JT figured out Catherine's password, Nutty Professor, before she did. They find Catherine's location, and Tess freaks out. A phone near water means trouble, not a romantic gondola ride. Gabe convinces them he should go to the boat alone. Gabe arrives and finds Catherine trying to get into Vincent's computer. He unties her, and they check the files. Vincent made a fake profile and set a date with Gina Garolo, linked to Carlos's rival, Jojo Garolo. Gabe thinks Carlos hired Vincent to kill Gina. Vincent meets Gina at a club, but hears Catherine's heartbeat there. He confronts Catherine about jealousy, and she says she's more worried Vincent might kill Gina. Vincent says he's protecting Gina, not killing her. While some dude named Slick hits on Gina, Gabe shows up and tells her to bounce. Slick offers to take her to a back alley. Vincent attacks Gabe and chases Gina outside. Slick fights Vincent in beast mode but gets knocked out. Catherine arrives just as Vincent kills Slick. Vincent grabs the body and disappears. Tess meets JT at a bar, says she misses having Catherine around. JT says at least Catherine knows who Tess is. At the precinct, Gina's friends pick her up. Gabe tells Catherine a beast assassin's fee is $7 billion and suggests Vincent might be owned by someone. At home, Catherine finds a note from Vincent saying roof. She heads up and finds Vincent ready to give back her phone, rain check the picnic, and apologize for tying her up. Catherine mentions someone owned Slick and wonders if Vincent's owned too. Vincent snaps, calling Catherine a one-night stand. Pushing further, Catherine makes Vincent lose it. He shifts into beast mode, shoves her down, then flips back and instantly regrets it. Catherine's trying to hide the bruises Vincent left on her by covering them with makeup and wrapping a scarf around her neck. Her sister Heather shows up with big news. She landed a job at a top PR firm, but it's in Miami, so she's gotta move. Heather also wants to tell Catherine the guy she calls dad isn't her real father, but Catherine's too caught up hiding the bruise on her neck to catch that. At the gentleman's club, JT's working out when Vincent rolls in asking about Catherine. JT doesn't know Vincent was involved in a recent beast attack, just thinks Vincent feels bad for forgetting her. JT reminds him about their past, dad's wedding, the pool, all that. Feeling bad, Vincent admits what he did was wrong and asks JT to tell Catherine he's sorry and it won't happen again. Agent Tucker hits up Vincent with info on a new target, but before he can say more, the target, a beast, kills him. Meanwhile, Catherine meets Gabe at Il Cantuccio. She tries to explain Vincent's abuse, saying he's a victim too. Her focus switched from saving Vincent's soul to keeping New Yorkers safe from him. She tells Gabe her plan: sneak on Vincent's houseboat to find out who's controlling him. Catherine also admits she slept with Vincent. Tess calls with news a beast just killed Agent Tucker. Catherine, Gabe, and Tess meet at the crime scene. Catherine insists Vincent didn't kill the FBI agents. Reynolds shows up and takes the body. JT calls Catherine, trying to pass on Vincent's apology. Catherine's happy JT's call unknowingly gives Vincent an alibi. She reminds Tess about their old party tricks for beating polygraphs, and Tess shares 2 hacks: block sweat with antiperspirant and press attack in the shoe, while telling the truth to change the baseline. After the test, Catherine gets ready for what's next. Before dying, Agent Tucker sends Vincent a cryptic message. Friday at 5, Vincent heads to the crime scene and finds Sebastian Clifton, who messes with him with a twisted game called Magic. Sebastian says there's a beast blacklist and Vincent's on it. Catherine sneaks onto Vincent's houseboat and grabs Tucker's file before Vincent gets back. Vincent's surprised but glad to see her, not suspecting her real reason. He apologizes, and Catherine lies smooth, says she's there to talk about their relationship. Vincent, pumped, says what he did is tearing him up and begs for another shot. They set a date, and Vincent thanks her for giving him another chance. JT cracks the file, but only finds art gallery names and the partial message, Friday at 5. Vincent buys flowers for their date. Reynolds calls for a description of Sebastian. Vincent learns from his handler Bob that Sebastian is the son of gallery owner Nigel Clifton and a former Muirfield experiment. Vincent asks if Sebastian's on the blacklist. Bob says no. Bob warns about a security breach, making Vincent suspicious of Catherine. Catherine meets Heather, who makes a pros and cons list about moving to Miami. Heather drops the bomb that Thomas isn't Catherine's real dad. Catherine gets mad Heather kept it secret so long and tells her sister to go ahead with the move. Catherine goes home to Vincent waiting for their date, a date she forgot about. Emotionally drained, she talks about her rough day. Vincent feels her lie and, not in the mood to deal, just leaves without reacting to her dad news. Back on the boat, Vincent finds proof Catherine stole his files. Catherine tells Tess Vincent's onto her and feels bad after seeing how crushed Vincent was when he realized he'd been played. She wants out, but Tess reminds her they're doing this for everyone's safety. Vincent calls Catherine and uses JT's info about their relationship to fake remembering a memory at the hotel pool. He asks her to meet there in an hour. Catherine, suspicious, checks with JT, who confirms it was part of Vincent's Cliff's notes. Catherine warns JT. Catherine knows Vincent's hiding something. She, Gabe, and Tess find out Nigel commissioned a painting called Friday at 5. At the gallery, Catherine meets Vincent and suggests they keep talking on the dance floor. Vincent accuses Catherine of using him for revenge. Hurt, Catherine says she always put him first, and everything she did was to protect him. She wanted the truth to free him so they could be together. Seeing she means it, Vincent regrets lying about the memory. After facing her feelings, Catherine walks away. Sebastian shows up threatening to make Catherine disappear. Nigel tells Tess the painting is a tribute to his son. They used to visit a magic shop every Friday at 5. They realize Sebastian is at the gallery to come back from the dead and kill his dad. Vincent tries to get Nigel out, warning him of danger, but Nigel won't leave. Catherine distracts Nigel by confessing she spilled wine on his Jackson Pollock painting in the elevator. Nigel rushes to save his art. Catherine tells Vincent to hold Sebastian off while Tess and Gabe clear out the guests. Catherine admits she's a cop and warns Nigel his life's at risk. Sebastian knocks Vincent out with a chair and heads to the elevator, where Catherine tranquilizes Mr. Clifton before seeing Nigel turn into a beast. Sebastian breaks the elevator roof. Catherine aims her gun, but Sebastian attacks. Catherine's pounding heart wakes Vincent, who shifts into beast mode and pushes Sebastian down the shaft to his death. Vincent catches Catherine as she loses her balance. When their hands touch, Vincent floods with memories, saving her from Muirfield, the train, sitting on the fire escape. Overwhelmed, Vincent jumps after Sebastian's body. Catherine goes home to find Heather ready to give up the Miami job. Catherine admits she was a hypocrite for hiding secrets. Heather says lying changes everything and isn't worth it. Catherine convinces her to take the job. At the precinct, Gabe and Tess talk about the case. Tess guesses Gabe's got a crush on Catherine. Later, Catherine sees Vincent sitting outside and opens her window. She asks if the fire escape was part of JT's Cliff Notes. Vincent says he remembered it. Catherine's skeptical. Vincent apologizes for lying, saying he didn't trust her since he didn't remember her. Catherine says it's not just about the lies, but about him refusing to share who he really is. Vincent's not ready to open up, but doesn't want to push her away. Catherine says she can't be in a relationship built on lies and shuts the window. Kat and Tess go out for a fun night, hoping to help Kat move on from Vincent. Meanwhile, Vincent is overwhelmed as his memories begin to return. He tells Chandler he needs a new beast target to distract himself from thoughts of Kat. Conveniently, a serial arsonist appears, someone Gabe identifies as a fire-resistant beast. Kat's night takes a bad turn when she gets into a fight with a group of drunk people. Unfortunately, one of them is a judge, and she ends up arrested. Gabe bails her out and scolds her. He also tells her about the fireproof beast, hoping Vincent can catch him alive. Gabe believes if they can cure the arsonist, like they cured him, it might work for Vincent too, but Kat doesn't want to be part of it. Arson isn't even in their department. Later, Gabe risks visiting Vincent's boat to convince him to go after the arsonist. He also hints that capturing the beast could help Vincent become human again. Vincent agrees, but plans to kill the arsonist. Using his beast senses, he tracks the fire starter, Eddie Long, at the scene of another fire. But Eddie is not just fire-resistant. He creates fire. He blasts Vincent with flames, knocks him out, and walks away. Back at Kat's place, she and Tess hire a masseuse and pedicurist, but Kat can't stop thinking about Gabe's plan. Gabe calls, then texts Tess and even messages their neighbor, cutting their relaxation short. Firefighters rescue Vincent, and Gabe sneaks him into a hospital under the radar. Vincent shares a moment with Kat, telling her he wants to finish everything so he can be with her. But danger follows. Vincent's handler shows up at the hospital looking for him. Gabe covers by saying Vincent is named Victor and undercover for the DA's office. One of the arson investigators is Aaron Keller, Vincent's nephew. Hearing the name, Vincent panics as his memories return. He remembers Aaron's father, William, Vincent's late brother. The emotional overload causes Vincent to lose control, beast out, and jump through the window. Vincent later calls his handler, who tells him Eddie was an arsonist experimented on by Muirfield. He warns Vincent to avoid memory triggers. Vincent returns to his boat where Kat is waiting. He tells her about Aaron and the painful memories of his brother William's death. Together, they go to the firehouse, trying to predict Eddie's next target. Photos of Vincent's brothers on the wall reveal they died on September 11th. The crew realizes the arson attacks are on properties owned by a wealthy oil executive. They suspect the company's HQ is next. Aaron, upset, sneaks out early. Moments later, an alarm goes off at the HQ. At the fire, Aaron tries to confront Eddie but is taken down with an explosive. Vincent searches for Aaron but is delayed by Eddie. This time, Vincent counters Eddie's fire with a burst pipe and fights him off. When Aaron's alarm sounds, Vincent hears it and chases after him, battling flashbacks of September 11th and his family. A vision of William leads him to Aaron, and Vincent saves him. Meanwhile, Gabe and Kat run into Eddie. To stop him from escaping, Kat shoots him. They try using a defibrillator, but Eddie dies. Vincent gets Aaron to safety and alerts the firefighters. Later, Aaron visits Kat to thank her and asks about the man who saved him. She tells him he can't meet him because he's undercover. In the end, Kat and Vincent take a walk. Though Vincent's memories are flooding back, he's grateful to know more about himself. They visit Ground Zero, honoring his brothers. Vincent wonders if he could have saved them, but Kat reminds him that he might have died too. They hold each other and look over the memorial fountains. Kat's setting up for her pre-reunion party, chatting with Gabe while throwing up decorations. She walks into her room and boom, Vincent's there, hiding behind the curtain like a weirdo. He tells her he dropped by hoping they could chill, maybe jog some memories. Kat shuts that down fast, tells him it's girls only tonight and kicks him out. Her friends roll in later, cracking jokes about her thing for bad boys. When they ask if she's got someone now, she just stays quiet. Meanwhile, Vincent and JT are on the couch, snacks in hand, sports on the screen. just straight up chilling. After the party dies down, only Beth sticks around. Kat goes to grab her purse and instead runs into a beast behind the curtain. This time it's not Vincent, it's some other guy, Zach Hayes. He grabs her by the throat, demanding the beast hunter. Beth's voice throws him off just enough for Kat to fight back. Right when he's about to choke her out, Beth walks in and he bounces out the window. Beth gives her side to the uniforms, but they treat it like a joke. Kat keeps her mouth shut. Tess and Gabe show up to clean up the mess. Kat mentions she nailed the beast with a kick, probably left some DNA on her boot. Gabe takes the boot to JT for testing. Gabe hits the gentleman's club, updates JT about the attack. Vincent hears it and loses it, storms off to check on Kat. JT and Gabe get into it over who's going to protect her, but Vincent's already gone. Beth starts sniffing around for proof, trying to back up her story. Kat tells her to cool it, warns her not to tank her career with some half-baked monster scoop. Vincent brings Kat back to the crime scene, sniffs around to track Zach. He swears he won't let that freak near her again. Vincent tracks Zach down to some abandoned church. They throw hands until Zach blurts out they used to be friends. Vincent flashes back. Zach was one of his army bros. They catch up over drinks, but things go sideways. Zach starts acting twisted, puts a target on Vincent. At the club, Kat and JT see Vincent walk in with Zach, all smiles now. Zach says he was just hunting the beast hunter, wants to chill. Kat's not buying it, not after he tried to kill her. Later, Kat rants to Tess about how fast Vincent forgave the guy. Vincent, JT, and Zach hit a bar, shoot some pool. Zach keeps poking Vincent about some chick named Gabriella from back in the war. Vincent's confused, asks about Alex. JT breaks it down. Gabriella came after her. Plot twist. Gabriella was Zach's girl. At the precinct, Agent Reynolds drops in. Gabe uses the chance to dig into Kat's real dad. Then Tess hits them with the truth. Zach's the one who killed Gabriella. Zach keeps trying to be all buddy-buddy, but his Gabriella obsession snaps things in half. He picks a fight. JT splits it up. Vincent decides enough's enough, calls Reynolds. Reynolds confirms Zach's dangerous, tells him to take him out. Vincent wants to avoid the blood, but Zach's locked in, says he's coming for Kat. At the reunion, Kat's venting about life while the school mascot's low-key stalking her. Vincent shows up, warns her about Zach. She tells him she was pumped for this night. Now she just feels stupid. Vincent tells her none of it's on her. Zach kills a classmate, slips into the mascot suit, goes for Kat. Vincent takes him down. Zach breaks loose, tries again. Vincent catches him and snaps his neck. Beth starts grilling Gabe and Tess about why Zach flipped. Gabe shrugs it off. PTSD maybe. Vincent checks on Kat, tells her he owes her big. They make a pact to save each other, seal it with a kiss. Vincent dips before more heat shows up. He crosses paths with Gabe, throws ice-cold shade. Later, Gabe swings by to work his charm on Kat, but she finds an old grad photo and spots Agent Reynolds lurking in the background. It clicks. He's her father. Vincent is all smiles as he visits Kat, who's unleashing her daddy issues on a punching bag. He listens while she vents, then shares some new memories of their past. She's thrilled he's remembering things, and they kiss. Vincent reminds her that only 2 beasts are left on his hit list, and once they're done, he's out. He even has a little celebration planned. At the precinct, Gabe has turned Joe's office into Beast HQ. He suspects Vincent might die after taking out the last 2 beasts, but still hopes to save him, for Kat's sake. Meanwhile, Kurt Windsor, a multimillionaire Muirfield investor, wants to cash in on beast DNA and enhance himself. His beast side had been dormant until 3 years ago. Now widowed, he's overprotective of his daughter, Tori. Kat confronts Reynolds, saying she knows he's her father and wants answers about why he hid the truth. That same night, Vincent sneaks into Tori's balcony to go after Windsor, but gets caught off guard by Kurt's beast powers. They brawl, terrifying Tori. Kurt grabs her by the neck, demanding answers, but Vincent rescues her and escapes. Kurt lets out a beastly howl. At a coffee shop, Reynolds explains to Kat that he loved her mother, Vanessa, and they found out she was pregnant after splitting. Vanessa had already moved on with Thomas, who agreed to raise Kat. When Kat brings up Muirfield, Reynolds plays dumb. Their talk is cut short when they hear about Tori's kidnapping. Kat rushes off while Reynolds gets a call from Vincent, who insists he saved Tori from Windsor's control. Kat heads to Vincent's boathouse but finds only Tori's earring. Windsor soon shows up with his goons. Kat dives into the water to avoid being seen. After searching the place, Windsor vows to find Vincent. Back at the precinct, Kat, Tess, and Gabe argue over Vincent's motives. Tess thinks he kidnapped Tori as leverage, while Kat believes he's protecting her. Gabe wants to convince Windsor to be flatlined. Kat agrees, outvoting Tess. In the woods, Tori is tied to a tree. Vincent tells her he's protecting her from her father. After everything she's been through, she breaks down. He shows her a tracking chip in her wrist and removes it, proving his intent to free her. Kat later runs into Reynolds at Windsor's tower. They decide to team up as cop and daughter to take on Kurt. While waiting for Windsor, Reynolds jokes about Kat's love life. When Windsor arrives, Reynolds distracts him while Kat snoops and finds Vincent-related items. She figures out he's hiding in Cedar Woods. At Cedar Woods, Vincent sets a trap for intruders. He and Tori talk about balancing beast life with personal life. When she asks if he has someone special, he says yes. She feels alone. Just then, Kat shows up and almost dies in his trap, but Vincent saves her. The three leave together just before Windsor arrives and realizes he's been lured. They go to the gentleman's club. Vincent's upset Kat disrupted his plan to kill Windsor. Tori feels guilty for not exposing her dad sooner. She didn't because he spoiled her. Kat comforts her. Tori asks if Kat worries Vincent will turn into a bad beast. Kat admits she does, but suggests saving Kurt instead of killing him by flatlining him. Vincent hesitates, but agrees. Kat later offers Kurt a deal. Let them flatline and bring him back human in exchange for Tori. Kurt agrees. At the club, Kurt lies on a table, ready to be flatlined, and asks to see Tori. When she approaches, he tells her how much he loves and needs her. But when she touches him, he beasts out. Vincent transforms too, and they fight. In the end, Vincent rips Kurt's heart out. Later, at the boathouse, Vincent works out while Kat checks in. He admits he doesn't know what happened. Kurt's strength triggered something, and he went full beast mode. At Kat's apartment, flashbacks of painful memories ruin the moment between Vincent and Catherine. Vincent reminds her that Windsor almost killed his daughter and reassures her he's in control. He says one more beast remains and then he's done. Robert interrupts, inviting them to Thanksgiving dinner. Kat declines, choosing Vincent's idea of dinner instead. Later, Kat buys Thanksgiving decorations and acts like Vincent's missions are nearly over. Tess shares Gabe's theory that the last beast could be Vincent. Kat panics upon hearing this. Tori tries to get info from Gabe about how they planned to remove her father's monster side, hiding her own motives. Gabe doesn't get to explain the flatlining process because Kat storms in asking about threats to Vincent. Tori leaves and Gabe realizes his Muirfield files are missing. Vincent reaches a warehouse for his final mission but finds no target. He informs Reynolds, who tells him to go inside. Suspicious, Vincent throws a metal bar, triggering an explosion. Realizing Gabe might be right, Kat panics and rushes to the boathouse. She yells at Gabe for keeping his theory quiet, saying Vincent's handler wants him dead. Vincent walks in and hears it. Gabe then gets a call. Tori attempted the unthinkable act. He rushes to the hospital, and after Tori pleads, he signs her out. Vincent calls Reynolds from JT's, recording the conversation. He tries to act like a loyal soldier, but ends up threatening Reynolds. JT finds out the FBI hacked Gabe. Vincent reveals Agent Tucker is his handler. Kat decides they should attend Thanksgiving with her dad to try and get answers. Reynolds tells Wilkes his new plan. Send Vincent on a wild chase and prepare another explosion. Vincent and Kat head to Reynolds' house, agreeing on pumpkin as a trust code word. Meanwhile, Reynolds pretends to be the concerned dad, but things get awkward when pumpkin cookies are brought up. Kat hints they suspect him. She says their beast friend is different and needs help. Reynolds agrees and asks for their files. Gabe offers to bring them over. Catherine praises Vincent for staying in control and kisses him. Gabe arrives with the files. Tori also shows up. When she shakes Vincent's hand, something stirs between them. They both act fine, but it's clear something's wrong. Reynolds sees Gabe as a possible match for Kat, which makes Vincent jealous. He attacks Bob and storms out. Reynolds pretends to be shocked Vincent killed Windsor. Kat defends Vincent, saying he saved Tori. She begs Bob to give him another chance. Bob agrees, only if he can speak with Vincent first. Kat breaks the news to Vincent, who feels ashamed and admits he's still struggling. Kat starts to accept that he's back, but not fully himself. At JT's, he asks Tess why she's single. She says it's because she's intimidating. JT says he found her so beautiful when they met that he couldn't talk. Tess says it was because she scared him, and JT kisses her. Tori stares at herself in the mirror. Gabe convinces her to stay and help prove Vincent saved her. Vincent and Reynolds talk. Vincent says he's not asking for approval, just that Bob not ruin their lives. Bob says he'll help, but threatens to turn Kat in if Vincent doesn't walk away. At dinner, Tori shares how Vincent saved her. Bob gives a toast about love, sometimes meaning letting go. Kat and her dad argue. Tori fully beasts out. Kat realizes Tori is the trigger for Vincent. Bob says love isn't unconditional. Gabe says Tori tried to flatline again. Bob calls Wilkes and adds her to the kill list. Tori finds Vincent. He tells her to stay away, but she insists she needs to be near him and kisses him. Kat sees this and runs. Vincent chases her. Kat admits she's been living an illusion. He's not the same man. He lets her go to save her from more pain. Bob tells Wilkes to drive Tori to the city. Back in the city, Tess gets excited over the church bells and the handler's recording. JT thinks she's avoiding talking about the kiss. He apologizes. Tess says if she didn't want it, he'd have a black eye. Reynolds gives Vincent a fake handler lead, saying the made-up villain has targeted Tori. Bob offers to go to Windsor Tower, but Vincent volunteers, not wanting him to get hurt. Vincent talks Tori through an escape plan. She breaks free by beasting out just as Windsor Tower explodes. Catherine, Tess, and Gabe arrive on the scene. Kat is upset, but refuses to believe Vincent is dead. After calming down, she goes home to take a shower, but promises she will be back. Wilkes calls Reynolds to confirm that both targets were eliminated. He refuses to provide proof of murder and demands immediate payment. Catherine arrives at her apartment. Her first reaction is to run into Vincent's arms, happy to see him alive. The sweet moment lasts only a few seconds before she notices Vincent has brought an unconscious Tori along. Vincent implies he had nowhere else to go. Vincent explains that Tori made him stronger, faster, and more powerful. He apologizes for bringing Tori to Catherine's apartment and sort of for kissing her too. Kat says their problems go beyond the kiss. She isn't giving the unmentionable incident more importance than it deserves, but says it was the last straw, making her realize she was seeing what she wanted in Vincent rather than the reality. Vincent is consumed by a need for revenge against Reynolds. He says he is going to kill him. Catherine explains that Vincent can't kill Reynolds because he is a human, not a beast, and if he kills him, he would lose his humanity. She gives Vincent an ultimatum. If he kills Reynolds, there is no future for them. Vincent asks if there's still a chance for them, and Kat says she wants there to be. She promises to help Vincent get justice without killing Reynolds. Tori wakes up. Vincent gives her water, and she complains it's not vodka. Vincent tells her Catherine will help them get Reynolds. Tori is skeptical and jealous. Tess and Catherine go to Gabe's to plan how to bring Reynolds to justice. Gabe suggests finding a beast's body before it's cremated and then sending the evidence to Reynolds to blackmail him. But they need Reynolds to believe someone with real info is blackmailing him, someone like Wilkes. Finding a professional isn't easy, so Kat suggests getting Vincent to track Wilkes. Later, the whole crew gathers to hear the plan. JT and Tess are on body-stealing duty, but Vincent can't track Wilkes, so Tori and Vincent have to team up, with Vincent teaching her. Reynolds receives a blackmail email. Meanwhile, Tess and JT go to the morgue to browse cadavers. They find Zach with a twisted neck. JT texts Tess, but she doesn't respond. Tess tells JT their kiss was a one-time thing. Catherine and Gabe go to the FBI to rattle Reynolds. Gabe repeats the blackmail plan and tells Bob to suspect Wilkes. Meanwhile, Kat uses menthol and fake tears to get sympathy from Reynolds. Tori and Vincent find Wilkes. She kills Wilkes. Vincent yells at her. Later, Vincent tells Catherine that Tori couldn't control herself. Kat is angry with Tori. Vincent tries to keep the peace and find a solution. Vincent and Tori leave. Tori badmouths Kat and tells Vincent to give in to his beast nature. She pushes him to embrace who he really is and stop trying to fit a past mold he can't remember. Then she offers to help him kill Reynolds. Back at the gentleman's club, Catherine sits at the bar, defeated. She tells Tess that maybe her love for Vincent blinded her and that it's time to stop fighting and trying to change him. Gabe and JT have a new plan. They have Wilkes' phone and will continue the blackmail ruse. Gabe will confront Reynolds and tell him he was working with Wilkes. Kat thinks it's too risky. Gabe claims he wants justice for Vincent and atonement for his sins. Reynolds receives the blackmail text and takes the bait. Reynolds meets his daughter and tells Catherine he's leaving but wanted to make sure she'd be all right. Gabe arrives at the meeting point. Bob verifies Zach is in the trunk. Gabe blackmails Reynolds, who confesses. Kat records it with a remote mic. Bob takes Gabe's car and drives away, leaving Gabe stranded with a bomb-rigged car. Catherine comes out of hiding and arrests Reynolds. He explains he wanted to eliminate all beasts because he helped create them and wanted to rectify his mistakes. After the crash, Vincent pulls Reynolds out of the car, beats him, and pins him against the wall. Catherine comes out and points a gun at Vincent, begging him to stop and appealing to his humanity. Vincent attacks Reynolds again. Kat shoots Vincent. He reverts to human form, looking shocked and betrayed, then runs away. Catherine rearrests her father. Later, FBI agent Hendricks interrogates Catherine for internal affairs. Catherine explains that Agent Reynolds was rogue. Despite this, she is arrested for conspiracy to commit murder. Reynolds confesses to everything to clear Catherine's name. On the houseboat, Vincent is bleeding badly. Tori wants to take him to the hospital, but Vincent refuses, fearing exposure. Tori reminds him he's no longer a hunted man. His only problem is being a beast, which he can hide. Catherine arrives and Tori confronts her. Vincent asks Tori to leave so he can talk to Catherine. He tells Catherine she chose Reynolds over him. Catherine says she chose right over wrong and didn't want it to end this way. Catherine returns to the precinct and tells Tess what Gabe said. Tess advises her and brings up Joe. Tori and Vincent go to the gentleman's club to seek JT's help. Tori explains Catherine shot Vincent. Vincent asks JT to steal some blood for him so he can stitch himself up. Tori receives a call from Laura Scott and Owen, lawyers from Thadmore and Partners, who want her to sign some papers. Tori says it's not a good time, but Laura threatens to reveal Tori's dad as a beast. Tori leaves. Agent Hendricks interrogates Catherine again. He found the bullet that wounded Vincent and asks who else was at the scene. Gabe tries to defend Catherine, but she refuses to expose Vincent and gets suspended. Gabe points out that even if the bullet matches Catherine's gun, they can't prosecute her for shooting someone who was already dying. Catherine isn't convinced. Gabe offers to get rid of the bullet evidence. She objects, but Gabe reminds her he didn't set out to save Vincent. He set out to save her and wants redemption. Tess informs them that JT got caught stealing blood and suspects Vincent is dying. Catherine decides to see Vincent because she won't be responsible for killing him. Across town, Tess pretends to take JT to booking with the stolen blood. Tess tells JT he's too loyal to Vincent. JT insists he's just a good friend and that Tess would do the same for Catherine. Tess denies it and says it must be something else. Catherine visits Vincent. She tells him that even though they're not together, she still cares. She suggests going to the hospital. Vincent says he doesn't know how to live in the real world anymore and that hiding is all he knows. He can't even remember what it was like to be Vincent Keller. Catherine urges him to save himself. Tori arrives and says someone else knows about beasts. Vincent wants to go after Laura and Owen, but Tori and Catherine want him to get medical help first. Vincent tells Catherine he's not her problem anymore. Catherine tranks him. After Tori panics, Catherine drags her to the antique store. JT and Tess arrive at the club with the stolen blood and find Vincent unconscious on the couch. JT checks Vincent's vitals and starts a transfusion. JT admits that if Vincent dies, it will be his fault because he volunteered Vincent for Muirfield's Super Soldier program. Tess says Vincent becoming a beast also saved many people, including Catherine. Vincent wakes and asks about Catherine and Tori. At Chelsea Curios Antiques, Tori and Catherine try to understand why Laura and Owen want the dusty store. Laura and her goons arrive, saying they need Tori alive, but Catherine is disposable. Laura explains they knew Kurt Windsor was a beast and just discovered Tori is one too. They were hired to find out what Windsor hid there. Tori warns that killing her would prevent the retinal scanner from working, so Laura threatens to kill Catherine instead. At Chelsea Curios, Tori scans her retina, and a secret storage door opens. Everyone is shocked but happy. They send Catherine inside to explore. Laura and Owen shoot at Catherine. Tori locks her inside the dark storage room. Catherine finds a beast skeleton with a collar. Tori fights Laura, Owen, and their team. Vincent arrives in supercharged beast mode, kills everyone, and saves Tori. Afterward, he collapses from his wound. Tori frees Catherine, who calls 911 and gives Tori pointers before walking away. The ambulance arrives and rushes Vincent and Tori to the hospital. Ballistics later show Catherine's gun wasn't used. At the hospital, Vincent is disappointed to see Tori, not Catherine. Tori gives him the war hero closeted beast pitch. Vincent has no choice, since the police have his fingerprints. At Catherine's apartment, Gabe is confused why Catherine suddenly seems over Vincent. Catherine explains she had an epiphany at Chelsea Curios. Now that she saved him, they are even. Vincent shows up on the talk. Sharon and Julie hype him up as the good-looking war hero with memory loss. Tori's lurking backstage. Julie asks if he's got a special someone. Vincent dodges. When they press him about the future, he clearly doesn't have a clue. After the show, Vincent snaps at Tori for pushing him into it. Somewhere else, Gabe, Catherine, and Tess meet FBI agent Dana Landon. She shows them a body, Mara Angel, a pro thief meant for a major job. Mara's crew doesn't know she's dead, so the FBI wants Kat to take her place. Kat's fed up with the Vincent drama and says yes. Vincent and Tori check in on JT at the Gentleman's Club. He's bruised up after a break-in, and someone stole a beast shackle. JT's confused why they didn't take the skeleton with beast markers. He thinks the Muirfield serum might have been real. Vincent chases the trail and catches another break-in. Same thief, same shackle. At the precinct, Dana gives Kat the lowdown. Mara's mission was to hit up Fitzpatrick's bar, find a guy with a neck tattoo, and twirl her ring. They don't know what Mara was really good at, so they're hoping she wasn't a sniper. Dana sounds like there's more to this for her. Vincent and Tori go through the attacker's apartment. Vincent claims this is about his past, not Kat. Tori calls him out, saying he's using it as a way to get back to Kat. Vincent denies it. At Fitzpatrick's bar, Kat spots the guy with the neck tattoo, Patrick, Pete Franco's brother. She twirls the ring. Pete introduces his crew, Patrick, Shorty, the guy who hit JT, and Ian. Pete doesn't like Kat's questions and gets aggressive. Kat flips him onto a pool table, makes him apologize, and says she only listens to Patrick because he's cuter. Vincent walks in just as Kat and Patrick leave. She kisses Patrick to stay undercover. Tori shows up, sees the whole thing, and tells Vincent to get lost. Vincent checks in on JT. JT jokes that Kat might have passed out mid-makeout. He reminds Vincent that Tori's all in on the whole beast thing. JT tells him to go full beast and make things right. Vincent tracks down Shorty, beats a confession out of him. The gem and the shackle are connected. Shorty pulls a gun. Vincent ends him, finds the shackle hidden in the chimney. At the precinct, Kat, Gabe, and Dana prep for the mission. Kat talks about Patrick. Dana doesn't know who he is. Kat wants to protect him. Gabe asks who's looking out for her. She says she doesn't need it. Gabe hands her a wire anyway. At the warehouse, Pete accuses Kat of killing Shorty. He notices she's wearing the wrong clothes. They take her to the pier and search her for a wire. She fights Pete, jumps into the river, and destroys the wire. They pull her out and check again. Nothing. Kat warns them she doesn't like being threatened. Gabe and Dana get to the pier too late. The crew's already headed to the embassy. Dana wants to chase, but Gabe says to let it play out. You can tell he's in deep with Kat. At the embassy, Kat pickpockets the consul and passes the keys to Patrick. She's told to distract Mrs. Kozar while Patrick grabs the gem. Kat rolls up to Mrs. Kozar with champagne, but freezes. Vincent's there. She accidentally says his name. Mrs. Kozar thinks she's just some fangirl. Vincent plays it cool. Vincent charms his way into Mrs. Kozar's room, knocks her out with pressure points, and finds the safe. Kat and Patrick crawl through vents and drop in as Vincent cracks it open beast style. Vincent almost attacks Patrick. Kat pulls a fake gun and stops him. Vincent looks ashamed, grabs the gem, and leaves. At the precinct, Dana asks who has the gem. Kat dodges. Dana shares that her husband was killed over stolen artifacts. This gem's linked to murders going back to 1836, and somehow it's tied to Kat's ancestor, Rebecca Reynolds. Meanwhile, Vincent and JT check out the gem. It fits the shackle like a puzzle piece. JT figures it was once a beast collar. Vincent's upset and wants answers. JT reminds him he and Tori might be the last of their kind. Kat gets back to the precinct. Gabe rushes over, relieved. She realizes Gabe trusted her enough to let her finish the mission once the wire went dead. Catherine brings a newspaper to Gabe, noticing Tori always wears the necklace in photos. She realizes Vincent is using her to lure out whoever's after the gem. Gabe brushes it off, focusing instead on Tessa's surprise party planning. Catherine kisses him, but Gabe pulls back, saying she's unresolved. Kat insists she's over Vincent. She just wants the family relic necklace. At the precinct, Dana suggests arresting Tori, but Tess, Gabe, and Kat don't support it. Gabe claims she's too high profile. Dana agrees to question her instead. Outside, Freddie accidentally spoils Tessa's surprise party. Kat complains Tess should be getting ready, not arresting Tori. Gabe tells her to chill, and Kat replies, I am not unresolved. Meanwhile, at the docks, Ivan, Vlad, Nico, Mateo, and Petra gear up to hit Vincent's houseboat. Inside, Vincent and Tori hear someone approach. Vincent recognizes Kat's heartbeat and tries to stop Tori, but she attacks. Kat draws her gun. They argue. Gabe arrives and tries to calm things down. Tori tries giving Kat the necklace, but Vincent stops her. Kat arrests Tori. Vincent calls it abuse of power. Kat threatens to arrest him too. The thieves split up. Some target Vincent, others go after the necklace. Ivan arrives at the houseboat. Vincent grabs him and demands answers. Another thug enters and Vincent throws a knife. Ivan reaches for his gun, but Gabe shoots him. Vincent's mad he didn't get to interrogate first. Kat and Tess interrogate Tori. Tori thinks Kat is jealous of her connection with Vincent. Tess tells Tori Kat is helping her. Kat says she's not jealous. Vincent is using her as bait. Dana arrives. Kat fakes calm, and Dana takes over. They all hope Tori doesn't beast out. At the precinct, Dana tells Kat that Tori refused to part with the necklace. She sent a cop to retrieve it. Moments later, that cop is thrown through the window. Vlad takes the necklace. Dana and Tess see him and sense something's wrong. Tess calls for backup. In the interrogation room, Tori starts to beast out. Kat tranks her. A thief drags out Kat and unconscious Tori. Freddie tries to be a hero for Tess's birthday and is killed. The thieves plan their escape. Kat volunteers to stay with Tori. Outside, Captain Bennett tells Gabe that hostage-takers bond over time. Vincent uses the chaos to scan building blueprints. Gabe notices and tells Vincent they should work together. Gabe reveals Kat is inside, but Vincent leaves before hearing that Tori's in there too. Inside the cell, Kat tells Tori her plan. Beast out, kill the thieves, get the necklace, and save everyone. Kat appeals to Tori's human side, but it backfires. Kat provokes her by saying she and Vincent have no chance. Tori beasts out, but instead of helping Kat, she takes out a guard and leaves. Kat escapes, grabs Mateo's gun. Dana suspects Tori stole the necklace, and Tess is hiding something. Vincent, crawling in ducks, uses Ivan's phone to lure Vlad to the basement. Tori and Kat head there too. Kat calls Gabe and learns Vincent is looking for the necklace. She's annoyed he's not there for her. Gabe says Vincent was worried. In the basement, Vlad meets Ivan and runs into Tori, who kills him and takes the necklace. Kat arrives and tries to reason with her. Tori shoves her aside. Kat, still cuffed, knocks Tori out. Vincent appears, shocked. Kat pushes him to return to his hero self. Vincent snaps, saying he feels betrayed. Kat shot him. Her mother altered his DNA. Her father used him, and now her ancestor had a beast on a leash. Nico's about to kill Tess when Vincent storms in. Catherine cuts the lights. Vincent beasts out, kills two, and grabs the necklace. But it weakens him. A thug chokes Kat. She tells Vincent the gem blocks him. He throws it away and finishes the job, sparing one for interrogation. Just as Kat questions him, a sniper aims. Vincent saves her by diving into the bullet's path. On the ground, they share a moment. Vincent is surprised Kat kept her promise. She says, "You didn't leave." Gabe and SWAT arrive. Outside, Kat tells Gabe Vincent saved everyone not because he's unresolved, but because he wanted to. She says a guy like that deserves a shot. Dana asks Tess if she's recanting her confession. Tess says she had an epiphany and owes her friends loyalty. Vincent searches for the necklace. Kat and Vincent agree to work together. Kat apologizes again, but he never hurt her. He chose to be a hero on his own. Tess hugs Vincent. Gabe gathers the girls. Tess invites Vincent to the after-hostage party. He declines. Catherine watches him leave with Tori and the other hostages. She says she invited everyone, except the drunk guy. Meanwhile, Catherine feels sad about Gabe leaving, but insists she is not ready for a relationship. Tess believes Catherine has done enough soul-searching and should focus on romance. Vincent is excited to call Catherine. They talk about the risk of Dana learning about beasts. Catherine suggests they solve Dana's husband's murder. To do this, they need to find a gem. Vincent uses Rebecca's journal as a map. He tells Catherine that once the beast situation is handled, she can return to her old life. After the call, Tori comes out wearing a robe and complains about Vincent calling Catherine too often. She asks if he still hopes to be with her. He replies angrily that he only wants to find the gem. Dana, nearby, listens to their whole conversation using a parabolic microphone. At the Gentlemen's Club, everyone celebrates JT's research grant. Tess says JT deserves it after all he did for Vincent. Catherine asks what she got for her sacrifices. Tess hints that it should be romantic pleasure. Gabe, Vincent, and Catherine talk about Agent Landon and the gem. Catherine updates Tori about Vincent's discovery. JT joins them and tries to hug Tori, but it becomes awkward, and she leaves. Vincent follows her. Tori complains about being treated like an outsider and not being Vincent's priority. She feels his heart is still with Catherine. Vincent admits he needs a break to figure things out, meaning he wants to sort things with Catherine first. Vincent returns as JT leaves to check out his lab. Catherine, Tess, and Gabe prepare to search for the dungeon in Washington Heights. Catherine stays to talk to Vincent. He feels bad that the gem issues stop everyone from moving on. Catherine advises him, but he is not happy with being called a friend. She says being friends is better than being enemies. She tells him loving him is hard because he shuts people out and urges him to speak with Tori. Though she talks about Tori, Vincent clearly thinks about Catherine. JT meets Tony Barnes from the Brady Wright Foundation. Tony and a chauffeur take JT to a lab. Inside, a man in a cage yells at JT to escape. Tony and the chauffeur inject JT, and he loses consciousness. JT wakes up chained. The caged man says he has been there for 5 years. Barnes admits there is no grant. He wants JT to recreate the Muirfield Beast Serum. Barnes also knows about Vincent. JT refuses but is threatened with the caged man's life. Tori finds Dana tied up on the houseboat. Vincent arrives and gets angry at Tori. As he unties Dana, he touches Tori, who briefly beasts out. Dana sees this. At the precinct, Gabe marks dungeon spots on a map. Catherine wonders if fate is involved. Gabe respects her decisions. Tess reports JT's kidnapping. A cryptic message is sent to JT's contacts, asking for the beast in exchange. Vincent ignores plans and takes action. Tori calls to apologize. Vincent informs her about JT, then ends the call. Tori finds JT and breaks his chain, but Tony tranquilizes her and uses a necklace to drain her blood. JT creates the serum while waiting for help. Vincent arrives and hugs JT, then helps the man in the cage escape. Vincent searches for Tori. Vincent finds Tori dying. She tells him he belongs with Catherine. Tony traps Vincent but is killed by Catherine. Vincent realizes Tori is gone. Vincent blames himself for Tori's death. He wanted to protect her because they were both victims, and he killed her father. He regrets seeking revenge. He tells Catherine he could not bear to lose her. Catherine reminds him she chooses to stay. Gabe arrives. Vincent leaves. Catherine says she wants to be with Gabe. At the precinct, Tess apologizes to Dana. Dana says she only wants to solve her husband's murder. A cop reveals Tony Barnes is actually Frank Darnell. Dana rushes to see the other man and realizes he is her husband, believed dead. Catherine confronts Sam about the secret room, but Sam denies knowing anything. Dana wants to find the link between Tony Barnes and Frank Darnell, but she is busy planning her vow renewal ceremony. Sam invites Catherine to the party, which falls on Valentine's Day. Catherine panics because she already agreed to spend that day with Gabe. She assumes Gabe didn't notice the date, but Dana disagrees after getting to know him. At the houseboat, JT secretly buys Tess flowers. Vincent is still grieving, but JT encourages him to feel his emotions. Vincent remembers Tori's last words were about Catherine. He tells JT he puts Catherine in danger and should stay away from her. Catherine arrives to talk about the Tony Barnes case. She checks on Vincent, and JT hints that Vincent is ready to move on. Vincent agrees to help with Barnes. Meanwhile, Sam is attacked, complicating things further. At Dana's apartment, Vincent treats Sam's injuries. Sam asks for full security for the ceremony and suggests Catherine, Tess, and Vincent. He also wants JT involved. Dana reminds Sam that Catherine has Valentine's plans. Vincent shows disappointment hearing that. Still, Catherine agrees to help with security. Catherine informs Gabe they are working that day. Gabe lies about his location while handing over cash to a man. He deflects her questions and ends the call, making Catherine suspicious. At the dungeon, Catherine meets Vincent and updates him. Vincent looks tense, but agrees to attend the ceremony. Catherine talks about Gabe's odd behavior. Vincent doesn't want to add to her trust issues. He discovers the entrance to a chamber filled with burned bones. JT analyzes the remains and concludes Frank Darnell experimented on people and burned failed subjects. Tess is upset about her secret admirer and, in desperation, turns Sam's case into NYPD business. Catherine grows suspicious of Sam. She and Vincent bring him in for questioning. Sam admits he helped Frank with experiments, cremated failed beasts, and recalls one name, Clara. He also mentions a man who visited the dungeon. When shown a photo in the chief's office, Sam points at the picture of Gabe. Catherine searches for Clara while Vincent tries to calm her. He tells her Gabe seemed innocent. Clara turns out to be from Gabe's orphanage. JT discovers Gabe bought a ticket to Mexico. Vincent searches Gabe's loft while Catherine distracts him. Gabe says he was planning a Valentine's getaway. Vincent finds a vial of beast serum and confronts Gabe at Catherine's place. Gabe denies everything and claims Vincent planted it. Catherine sides with Vincent. Gabe gets upset that she didn't trust him and walks out. Tess tries closing a case. Captain Ward praises her for solving another case, leaving her confused. Meanwhile, Catherine and Vincent conclude Tony Barnes framed Gabe. Vincent urges Catherine to talk to Gabe. She admits she's not sure she can forgive him for his beast past. Tess tracks one of Sam's attackers and learns Sam might fake his death and run. Sam's son died from leukemia, which led to Sam's obsession with trials. The ceremony is their tribute to him. Vincent wants to clear Gabe's name, feeling responsible for Catherine's trust issues. JT pushes Vincent to win her back, but Vincent hesitates. Catherine surprises Gabe with Mexican food at his loft. Vincent calls and reveals the bones are from Gabe's orphanage. Gabe connects Frank and Sam through a lawsuit, proving Sam knew Frank wasn't Tony. Vincent feels his chance with Catherine has passed. At a gentleman's club, the team plans to catch Sam by pretending Gabe was framed. Catherine needs a date for the party, and everyone awkwardly looks at Vincent, who eventually understands. Catherine and Vincent travel to Harrison. Vincent senses a bomb under the chapel. Gabe suggests letting it explode to fake his death. Vincent agrees to save him when the time comes. Gabe takes Sam away, and Vincent warns Dana. Sam triggers the bomb, but Vincent rescues Catherine and Gabe just in time. Catherine tells Dana they won't arrest Sam, so he can lead them to Tony. Dana decides to enter witness protection, realizing she was holding on to Sam's past. Vincent finds Gabe and jokes about faking death. They exchange apologies. Gabe looks for Catherine. Vincent tells JT he loves Catherine, but believes she deserves someone better. JT insists he's worthy. Vincent admits he wants her happy, even if it's not with him. Their conversation is cut off by Tess's arrival, and Vincent quietly leaves. Catherine tells Tess she confused her emotions and called Gabe instead of keeping her distance. She believes staying away from Vincent is necessary to move on. At Gabe's empty fake funeral, Vincent and JT show up and sit beside Catherine and Tess. Catherine tries to focus on pretending to mourn instead of thinking about Vincent sitting so close. Sam approaches her to subtly gather information about Tony Barnes, then leaves. Tess follows him. JT thinks Vincent is foolish for giving up on Catherine. Vincent feels guilty about his beast past and decides to go cold turkey, no beast powers, to prove he can be a better man. Catherine visits Gabe's apartment to tell him no one came to his funeral. Gabe, who sent himself the flowers, has been using his free time to research Tony Barnes. He finds that Tony vanished around the same time Sam was taken and has been a hidden millionaire since. Tess follows Sam to St. Benjamin's Hospital where he visits a patient. Catherine wants to investigate, and Gabe insists she take Vincent for protection. At the hospital, they see careless paramedics leave a patient in critical condition. Vincent steps in and sends the kid to surgery, showing the responsible side of him again. Catherine finds out the patient Sam visited is Jacob Sutter, who is dying of a mysterious illness. She also learns another Jacob Sutter recently died in a different hospital. Vincent believes someone, Sam or Tony, is injecting them with JT's serum. He runs into his old mentor, Dr. Marcus, who praises Vincent's past as a doctor. This brings back emotional memories for Vincent. Gabe calls and confirms Jacob Sutter is a fellow orphan. Sam is tracking down orphan children from Muirfield because they are likely to become beasts. Sam finds the right Jacob Sutter at a construction site. Catherine visits Reynolds in prison. He says some people are genetically meant to become beasts, and those who aren't could die from the serum. He warns her to leave the beast world before it ruins her. Catherine and Tess track Sam to an abandoned building. Jacob, now a beast, attacks them and runs. Sam waits outside and tranks him. Back at the club, Vincent tells JT to find a cure for the dying Jacob. JT thinks it's possible because that Jacob never fully transformed. Catherine arrives and Vincent says he wants to help dying Jacob, but she urges him to stop Beast Jacob. Vincent agrees and breaks his beast cleanse to hunt him down. Sam locks Jacob in a cage. Jacob has no memory of attacking Catherine due to the serum's fugue state effect. Sam warns him that Vincent will be coming. Vincent arrives and tries to talk to Jacob, but Jacob attacks, forcing Vincent to transform and fight. Vincent returns to the club, defeated. JT encourages him by saying the battle isn't over. JT has made a cure for the dying Jacob. Vincent sneaks into the hospital and convinces Dr. Marcus to let him inject Jacob with the serum. Jacob begins to recover, and Dr. Marcus praises Vincent, saying he's on the road to redemption. JT tells Catherine that Vincent chose to save dying Jacob instead of killing Beast Jacob, hoping to win her back. Gabe realizes that Sam is actually Tony Barnes and that he killed the real one to take his identity. Gabe tries to stop Jacob, but Sam finds him first and tranks him. At the loft, Sam prepares to inject Gabe with the serum. Vincent and Catherine arrive and fight breaks out. Catherine kills Jacob to save Gabe, but later feels guilty. She says she only saw Jacob as a beast, not a person. Vincent says he couldn't kill Jacob because he still saw the man inside. Catherine tells Gabe she regrets both killing Jacob and affecting Vincent's redemption. Gabe says beasts are beasts and tells her that Vincent needs to go. Vincent is at the gentleman's club using face recognition software to track Sam, but ends up using old-school methods to prove to Catherine that he can live without his beast side. At Il Cantuccio, Catherine talks to Tess about a dream she had about Vincent, showing she still cares for him. She admits she fears he will get hurt. Tess thinks Reynolds messed with her head when he said she was meant to slay beasts. Catherine wants to catch Sam so she can move on with Gabe. Vincent and JT show Sam's picture to random people, but no one recognizes him. JT convinces Vincent to use his beast senses, and it works. Meanwhile, Catherine visits Gabe's apartment and learns he has a plan to arrest Sam for identity theft since they can't charge him for creating beasts. Gabe gives her keys to his place, but she gets nervous. JT calls and tells them Vincent found Sam. Sam accepts defeat and reminds Vincent that he's doing this for his son. He mocks Vincent for trying to tame his beast to win Catherine back. Vincent loses control and beasts out just as Catherine and Gabe arrive. They are upset because Vincent's actions won't help in court. JT defends Vincent but is asked to leave. Gabe interrogates Sam, who reveals a beast is tied up somewhere and will die if they don't release him. So they let Sam go. Sam visits Xavier Wright, a former history teacher turned beast. He injects him with a serum that makes beasts suggestible and tells him to find Vincent. Vincent goes home and finds Gabe drinking his scotch. Gabe accuses Vincent of trying to get Catherine back and pressures him to walk away. After Gabe leaves, Vincent vents to JT. JT says Vincent has already regained his humanity and shouldn't try to live by what Catherine wants. Vincent decides to save Xavier from his beast fate. At the precinct, Tess wonders why Vincent hasn't gone after Xavier. Catherine explains that Gabe wants to do it legally. They talk about the keys Gabe gave Catherine. She decides to go find Xavier herself. Vincent tracks Xavier to his apartment, then steps outside and follows the trail until Catherine nearly hits him with her car. They argue but eventually ride together. Vincent points out that it was too easy to find Xavier, which raises suspicion. A truck crashes into their car and flips it. Xavier steps out but runs away when he sees a crowd gathering. Vincent and Catherine are stuck in the car. With people watching, they have to wait. Gabe calls and says he found Sam's apartment, which is near a CIA bunker. Vincent breaks open the car door to make it look like the firefighters did it. He and Catherine head to the bunker. At the bunker, Sam tells Xavier to go to sub-level 20 to download data. That level has no oxygen. Vincent and Catherine arrive. She doesn't want him to risk his life, but he insists on doing the right thing. Catherine goes after Sam. Vincent finds Xavier unconscious in front of the server. Catherine catches Sam, who holds a bomb trigger. She cuffs him and says, if Vincent dies, so will he. Vincent carries Xavier out just before the bomb goes off. He gives CPR to Xavier, who finally wakes up. Catherine hugs Vincent. Gabe and Tess arrive and witness it. At the precinct, Gabe charges Sam with terrorism and identity theft. Sam talks about love and how those responsible for his son's death were above the law. After Sam is taken away, Gabe confronts Catherine. He's tired of being the nice guy. He asks if she's with him or Vincent. Gabe tells her to let Vincent know it's over. Vincent and JT discover that when Vincent flatlined Xavier, it made him human again. JT praises Vincent and gives him a gummy worm. In jail, Sam coughs up something. A guard checks on him, but he hides a pill. Catherine visits Vincent at his houseboat. He's in a bathrobe with microwave dinner. She tells him she's with Gabe and they can't see each other. Vincent agrees and says she deserves to be happy. After a wild night, Vincent wakes up and heads to the gentleman's club to talk to JT, while Catherine tells Tess her version of what happened. Vincent believes the night was meaningful, while Catherine insists it was just break-up sex. Both agree it was great, but Tess argues it was not breakup sex, since there was eye contact and kissing. JT agrees, and tells Vincent to talk to Kat, reminding him she is with Gabe, but not married. Catherine, on the other hand, wants to move forward. Sam injects a beast serum into another inmate at Rikers and escapes during the chaos. At the precinct, Catherine gets ready to tell Gabe the truth. Gabe asks if she ended things with Vincent, but she avoids the question. Gabe suspects she is lying. Before they can talk more, Tess informs them Sam has escaped. Catherine and Gabe go to Rikers and talk about the need for JT to make an antidote for Sam and decrypt the CIA file. Vincent calls Catherine and wants to talk about last night. Catherine says it was a mistake and insists she needs to move on. Vincent tells her that he knows she is lying and believes they are meant to be together. At the Gentleman's Club, Tess makes JT hack NSA software to find Sam. As JT works, they talk about Vincent and Catherine. Tess defends Catherine's decision to leave. JT counters that disappearing after being chased for months is rude. Vincent arrives just as Tess leaves. Sam threatens a judge to get a pin for an upcoming meeting. When he sees a photo of the judge with his son, he hesitates and spares the judge. Back at the precinct, Gabe tells Catherine she is allowed to change her mind. She says she is confused and not ready for the next step. Gabe says he loves her and claims Vincent is wrong for her. Catherine feels uncomfortable. Vincent can't track Sam because he is using scent blockers. JT decrypts part of Sam's files and finds a list of names, including one linked to Judge Westbrook. Vincent heads to the judge's office and tells JT to call Catherine and finish the antidote. Catherine and Gabe meet Vincent at the judge's office. The judge lies, and Vincent uses beast persuasion to get the truth. They learn Muirfield turned children into beasts and communicated through the CIA server Sam destroyed. There is a secret meeting at a masquerade party, and the pin is the entry. Vincent suggests they visit Mr. and Mrs. Beaumont to borrow their pins. Catherine is set to impersonate the wife, but there is debate over who will be her fake husband. Catherine sides with Gabe. At the party, they realize Gabe is too recognizable, and Vincent shows up as backup. He asks Catherine for another chance. At the club, JT gets blamed for losing track of Sam. He confesses to Tess that he wants a shot with her. Tess says she never expected to date him, but admits she constantly thinks about him. They kiss just as the list finishes decrypting. At the masquerade, Sam tricks security into detaining Catherine. Gabe calls JT, who discovers the group behind Muirfield is rebooting. Gabe warns Vincent to stay away from Catherine, but Vincent follows her anyway. Catherine disarms the guards before Vincent steps in. She gets upset, claiming she doesn't need saving. They go after Sam, despite Gabe's warnings. On the meeting floor, the newly created Andrew Beast kills members of the reboot group. Vincent fights and kills Andrew. Sam runs to the roof and tries to jump. Vincent talks to him about finding a better way to honor his son, then catches him as he jumps. Sam is arrested. Catherine tells Vincent he no longer has to carry the weight alone. Vincent says he understands Sam's pain and doesn't want to return to his old ways. Catherine believes he has changed. Gabe drives Catherine home and tells her she is making a mistake. He calls her naive and warns that Vincent will hurt her. Catherine gets out of the car and walks away. Vincent is arrested for the murder of Kurt Windsor. Catherine runs after him, begging the officers to listen, but he is taken away. Before leaving, Vincent tells her to find the gem. Catherine, in shock, calls JT, dropping her badge in the street. JT, in bed with Tess, answers the call and learns about Vincent's arrest. Catherine heads to the precinct in her pajamas to intercept Vincent's lab work. Realizing she lost her badge, she tries to use her gun for entry, but the cops block her. Gabe arrives just in time and uses his ADA status to get her inside. Vincent is taken to the jail infirmary for blood samples. He can't explain the real reason he doesn't want them to test his DNA, so he pretends to fear needles. He loses control, beasts out, and sends a guard flying. Meanwhile, Catherine changes into a stolen uniform. Gabe tells her he had nothing to do with the arrest and promises to help. Back in intake, Vincent fights off guards until Kat arrives, pretending to be a visualization expert, helping with his phobia. She talks to him in code, and he reveals the gem is hidden in his brother's grave. Gabe calls in favors from the DA's office. Outside, Tess and JT show up, and in the chaos, JT blurts out he slept with Tess. Later at the cemetery, Kat finds the gem and a go bag inside a headstone. Tess admits she only slept with JT twice. Kat snaps at her for pointing out flaws in the plan. Tess tells Kat their bond is epic and they can get through anything. Gabe receives evidence from the DA, photos of Vincent dumping Windsor's body and Windsor's heart found in Vincent's fridge. Kat believes Reynolds is behind it. Catherine tries to get Reynolds to confess, but he realizes she's recording and says nothing. She tells him she and Vincent will survive. Later, someone pretending to be Dr. Forbes shows up to take more samples. Detective Vargas pulls the guard away, giving JT time to swap Vincent's blood with his own and give him the gem. Vincent feels guilty and decides to confess. Catherine visits Vincent and tells him she's tired of men making choices for her. Vincent insists he is protecting her and reminds her she wanted to move forward. She threatens to testify, saying she'll go down with him. She confesses her love and leaves. Vincent starts a fight in jail. Catherine asks Gabe to support her self-defense story. On the way to the hospital, Vincent beasts out and escapes the ambulance, vanishing across the city. Catherine meets the lawyer Gabe suggested, but the meeting is interrupted by breaking news of Vincent's escape. Catherine and Gabe rush to the abandoned ambulance. Detective Flannery tries to explain, but Kat cuts him off and covers for the hallucinating guard. At a club, JT refuses to believe Vincent escaped on purpose until he realizes it was to protect Catherine. He yells at her and storms off. Tess finds JT at a grave. He doesn't want to talk about Tess dropping him off away from the front door and is struggling with losing his best friend. Gabe and Catherine search for Vincent but fail. Gabe thinks Vincent left out of fear, not love. JT confirms the money and passports are gone. Catherine returns home and finds Vincent waiting. He wants to say goodbye. She wants one last night with him. Inside, they hide in the bathroom. Vincent plays their special song and asks her to dance in the shower, fully clothed. Gabe arrives with news that Reynolds used a man named Harry Salvo to deliver organs. Kat and Gabe find Salvo dead. They confront Reynolds, who is shocked. Someone from Muirfield is tying up loose ends, and the news confirms another death, Miller. Kat leaves Gabe and Reynolds to talk. Back at her apartment, Catherine tells Vincent they need to run. He doesn't want to ruin her life, but she insists she wants to be with him. The police are close, and she realizes she can't go. He handcuffs her to a chair so she won't be blamed. They kiss and he disappears as cops burst in. Catherine goes to JT's place, heartbroken. They comfort each other, fearing this might be the end. Later at the precinct, JT apologizes to Tess. She wasn't hiding anything. She just didn't know how to tell Kat. JT says they are in a real relationship now. Tess agrees and suggests they go out for a drink. Tess rushes into the gentleman's club in a panic and finds JT drunk on scotch and gummy worms. After shaking him awake, JT screams out, confused. Tess explains that Catherine is missing and they need Vincent to find her. JT recalls the rendezvous point he and Vincent agreed on if Vincent ever escaped. At the precinct, Gabe takes over Captain Ward's office, pushing the captain out. Meanwhile, Catherine is trapped in a dark room with minimal furniture and construction lights. At the Aloyo diner, Vincent hides his face as JT arrives. Vincent refuses to run any longer because he cannot leave Catherine behind. JT tells him that Catherine is missing, and Tess joins them. Vincent knows he can't go to Kat's apartment because the police are watching it. Someone enters Catherine's apartment. SWAT and Gabe pull guns on JT. Gabe demands to know where Vincent is, but JT denies knowing him. They drag JT away. Once clear, Vincent arrives to start tracking Catherine. Gabe interrupts him with his gun drawn. Vincent figures out that Gabe tipped off the police. Vincent pins Gabe to the wall but lets him go and disappears. At the precinct, JT is interrogated. Gabe tries convincing him to betray Vincent. When that fails, Gabe raises his voice. Tess arrives and reminds Gabe that without real evidence, JT must be released. JT walks out. Gabe tries to intimidate Tess, but she calls out his past actions. Catherine explores her cell. Two men enter. One introduces himself as FBI Special Agent Knox, the other as Agent Bates. Knox says Dana vouched for Catherine and Vincent. He wants help rescuing an undercover agent. Catherine is skeptical, so Knox promises to help clear Vincent's name. That makes her listen. JT and Vincent break into Gabe's apartment to hack into his beast alert system. Vincent says JT is taking too many risks, but JT remains loyal. Vincent tracks Catherine's location. At the warehouse, Catherine hits Agent Knox with a chair and knocks Bates out. She runs and meets Vincent. The agents chase them, but Vincent and Catherine hide. They escape but are caught on a surveillance camera. JT warns them they've been seen. Back at the precinct, Gabe tells Tess he will frame Vincent for kidnapping if Catherine returns. Tess leaves, unsure of what to do. In the warehouse, JT, Vincent, and Catherine watch the NYPD press conference. Gabe declares Vincent public enemy number 1 and locks down Manhattan. Vincent decides he won't run anymore. He tells Catherine she can leave, but he is done hiding. Catherine chooses to fight beside him. They return to Agent Knox. Catherine apologizes for hitting him, and Vincent asks if one of his agents was actually captured. Knox confirms that Agent Mallory was a sleeper agent in a terrorist cell, but was discovered and taken to the United Nations. The FBI has no jurisdiction there, so he asks them to help. Catherine agrees, but only if Vincent gets written exoneration. At the precinct, JT confronts Tess. She traps him in an elevator and asks him to back off. JT tries to explain the new plan, but Tess begs him not to do anything reckless and walks away. Vincent and Catherine plan the rescue. Catherine suggests getting herself caught so she can reach Mallory. Knox gets the amnesty paperwork. Using the alias Katerina Soro, Catherine enters the UN. Vincent disables a security camera to help. Inside, Catherine is quickly caught and taken to Mallory. Catherine says she is there to help, but Mallory mocks her for getting caught. Vincent bursts in and frees them. They run toward the parking lot as alarms blare. Mallory escapes, but Vincent and Catherine are trapped. They flee as UNPOL closes in. Catherine pauses on the stairs, not wanting to slow Vincent down. Vincent refuses to leave her. His plan is to jump through a window into the river. They land safely. Back at the warehouse, Knox informs them that the Bureau of Prisons reversed the exoneration. Catherine storms into the precinct and demands to see Gabe. Once alone, she slaps him and accuses him of ruining everything. She tells him she trusted him, but realizes he has not changed. Gabe vows to destroy Vincent no matter what. The Special Crimes Unit follows Catherine through Manhattan. Tess gives her advice over the phone on how to shake them off. Catherine manages to lose the tail and heads back to her apartment. She looks for a new burner phone, but is interrupted by her sister Heather, who wants to catch up. Catherine grabs a laundry basket and heads to the roof, unaware that Heather is trying to show her an engagement ring. Catherine meets Vincent on the rooftop. They share a brief conversation about their relationship before Vincent disappears. Meanwhile, Heather sees a news report about Vincent being a wanted criminal. She becomes worried, but Catherine changes the subject by asking about Miami. Before Heather can explain more, Tess sends an emergency text, and Catherine leaves again. At the precinct, Catherine is met with cold stares. Captain Ward calls her in. Gabe and Ward confront her and Tess for helping Vincent. On Gabe's recommendation, Ward suspends them both. Catherine insists Gabe is acting out of jealousy, not concern for public safety. Later, Catherine meets Vincent and tells him about her suspension. They talk about exposing Gabe's crimes. Catherine feels unsure about telling Heather the truth about Vincent, but he suggests starting with the fact that he's a fugitive. Back at the precinct, Captain Ward asks Gabe if he is jealous. Gabe brushes it off and proposes they bug Catherine's apartment, phone, and car. Heather arrives and asks about Catherine. Gabe tells her about the suspension and asks her to call him if she hears from Catherine. Catherine and Vincent work separately to find a cold case to pin on Gabe. The carriage driver case doesn't work because Gabe has an alibi. Catherine picks the murder of Ray Sheckman. Captain Ward sees her access the file and informs Gabe. At a restaurant, Tess meets Heather instead of Catherine. Heather is upset and wants to know what is going on. Tess reveals that Catherine is in love with Vincent. Heather reacts badly and feels betrayed. Catherine and Vincent go to the Whitmore Museum. Vincent tracks Ray Sheckman's murder and learns there was a witness who fled but left a shoe behind. They bump into Heather, who runs off. Heather returns to the restaurant and Catherine follows her. Heather reveals she hacked Catherine's phone app to find her. Catherine admits the story about a beast saving her was true and that Vincent was the one who saved her. She tries to explain the beast and secret government experiments, but Heather thinks Catherine is mocking her. Before leaving, Heather reveals she came to pick a wedding dress. At Tom Sheckman's office, Gabe tells Tom that Vincent killed Ray. He wants to use Tom's resources to capture and kill Vincent. Tom agrees to help if the claim is true and hears that Heather was involved. Catherine and Vincent find Jack Watson, the traumatized witness. Catherine convinces him to come forward. Jack says he saw Gabe kill Ray at the museum. While Heather is trying on dresses, Tom kidnaps her and takes her to a dungeon. He forces her to call Catherine and demands a trade. Heather for Vincent. He leaves no directions, expecting Vincent to find them. Vincent and Catherine track Heather to the bridal store and follow the trail. Vincent finds Heather chained inside the dungeon. He tries to free her, but Tom traps him in a beast-proof cage. Tom accuses Vincent of murder, but Heather realizes Vincent saved her life and begins to understand. Tom sets a bomb and leaves. Catherine and Tess stop Tom on his way out. Vincent warns Heather before transforming. He breaks the cage and frees Heather. Catherine shoots Tom just as the bomb explodes. Heather panics, thinking Vincent is dead, but he comes out alive. Heather asks who he really is. Later at the apartment, the sisters talk. Heather understands why Catherine kept her secret. She recalls Catherine's story after their mother died and now believes her. They talk about Heather's fiancé, Matthew. At the precinct, Ward tells Gabe that Tom is dead and the Ray Sheckman case is reopened. A witness identifies Gabe as the killer. On the rooftop, Catherine tells Vincent the latest news. Jack identified Gabe, but Gabe made bail. Tess got her badge back. Catherine reminds him they're not being watched anymore. Vincent kisses her, but a helicopter flies past and they are forced to say goodbye. Tess arrests Gabe at his apartment. Meanwhile, Catherine and Vincent go to the motel where Watson was last seen. Vincent tracks the trail and realizes Gabe killed Watson. At the precinct, Gabe claims Vincent is blaming him to distract from the manhunt. Tess points out holes in Gabe's story, but Gabe says Tess defends Vincent because she is Catherine's best friend. Then, Sergeant Vargas gets a text from Catherine confirming Gabe killed Watson. Tess asks if they know the witness is still alive, but Captain Ward releases Gabe. Vincent continues tracking Watson in New York. He follows Gabe's trail into a crowded area. A passerby recognizes Vincent, but the beast outruns two cops on horseback and escapes. At the FBI, Agent Knox scolds Vincent and Catherine. Catherine explains they were solving a case and asks for a safe solution. Knox suggests witness protection, and they agree. At the Gentlemen's Club, Vincent and Catherine tell Tess and JT about witness protection. Tess accepts it calmly, but JT warns city people won't survive in suburbia. Vincent and Catherine decide to leave that night. JT promises to keep investigating Gabe without beast tracking, saying he has common sense and Tess has a badge and gun. Gabe bribes a man who spotted Vincent, who guesses Vincent escaped with a cute brunette. Gabe finds Catherine's wallet, keys, and phone. He charms a neighbor who reveals Catherine spends time on the roof with plants and will be out of town. Vincent and Catherine arrive in the suburbs and admire their new house. Neighbors wave, but Catherine assumes they are rude. Vincent adjusts better. They reveal their aliases, Tim and Veronica Vaughn. The next day, Vincent is glad New York is behind them. Catherine tries to be a mystery writer, but misses the city's life. Back in the city, JT struggles to track Gabe, but eventually uses cell tower data. He kisses Tess and calls her a genius. In the suburbs, Vincent moves boxes with neighbor Frank's help. Vincent and Catherine feel awkward when Frank says Vincent looks familiar. They meet Frank's wife, April, who seems suspicious. April does not like Frank. Their son is at NYU, and they were recently robbed. That night, Vincent sees Deputy Lewis enter the Harris house. Catherine thinks he's overreacting. A gunshot follows. They find April crying over Frank's body. Catherine wants to investigate. Vincent warns her not to blow their cover, but she ignores him. Outside, Catherine questions the sheriff and deputy while pretending to be a nosy neighbor. Vincent drags her inside before the sheriff reveals anything. Catherine explains she uncovered a murder plot. April wanted Frank dead. Frank went armed because April said there was a suspicious vehicle. April called cops and hid Frank's keys. Frank climbed the fence and was shot by police, mistaken for an intruder. Vincent is frustrated they are solving murders while in hiding, but Catherine insists they must get involved, knowing Vincent agrees. Back in the city, JT finds Watson's body in a dungeon crematorium. Gabe appears, demanding Vincent's location and threatening to expose them. Tess lowers her gun, and Gabe leaves. In the suburbs, Vincent talks to his fish and decides to listen to Catherine. He visits April, who quickly ends a phone call and looks at him suspiciously. Vincent gives her a beast polygraph and asks if she killed Frank. April denies it, but Vincent suspects the truth. Catherine approaches Deputy Lewis with a conspiracy theory. He invites her on patrol. During the drive, Lewis realizes Catherine suspects him. They struggle, crash the car, and Catherine runs. Lewis shoots at her. Catherine finds a shotgun and aims it, but Vincent arrives and throws Lewis into the car. Vincent says he scared April into confessing. He praises Catherine for acting bravely despite blowing their cover. They hug, and Catherine wishes to return to the city's familiar bad air and uncaring neighbors. Back in New York, Tess tells JT their friends are safe. JT admits he failed to make it safe for them from Gabe. Tess argues JT's goal was to continue Vincent's work, which he did. Tess and JT shop at Lizzie D's closet for Heather's bachelorette party. Tess fills in for Catherine as party planner. They meet Beth, a reporter who claims Vincent was part of a secret military experiment. Beth believes this because she saw Zach Hayes beast out. Tess and JT deny the story and leave. At Backpackers NYC hostel, Vincent, still in disguise, freaks out when he hears about Beth and Gabe. Catherine thinks Gabe is trying to protect her in a twisted way and plans to meet him alone since Vincent is too angry. She wants Gabe to believe she convinced Vincent to turn himself in, as Vincent cannot go to jail if Beth publishes the Beast story. Catherine meets Gabe at his apartment. Gabe falls for her story but demands she go out with him in exchange for talking to Beth. Catherine agrees. Later, she tells Vincent and JT about the plan. Vincent must stay home and practice his surrender speech on his last free day. Heather helps Vincent with the speech, but he worries about Catherine and wants to track her. JT stops him with a tranquilizer gun, so Vincent stays put. Gabe and Catherine go to a cake decorating place. Gabe admits he killed his own mother when he first beasted out and fears Vincent will do the same to Catherine. He apologizes for his actions, but wants to protect her. After the date, Gabe kisses Catherine, who feels guilty. She finds Vincent, JT, Tess, and Heather waiting for her. Gabe realizes he took the wrong cake and returns to exchange it. Outside, Catherine admits the fake date was hard but worth keeping Vincent safe. The next day, Vincent holds a press conference. Beth asks about Vincent's altered DNA. Heather calls Catherine to report that Catherine's blue cake was destroyed, meaning Gabe realized the date was fake and did not stop Beth's story. Knox, the FBI agent, is skeptical and escorts Vincent off stage. After the conference, Vincent tells Knox the truth, hoping it will keep him out of jail. Knox says the best he can do is solitary confinement. Beth, annoyed, says Gabe has proof, Sam's beast serum. At the party, Catherine and Tess try to convince Beth Gabe is a jealous ex with a twisted story. Beth connects the dots about Catherine, Zach, and Gabe. Tess says Gabe kidnapped Heather, but Heather refuses to confirm it. In prison, Vincent is visited by agents who want to test him. He pretends to cooperate until he sees Knox. Vincent beasts out, surprising the scientists, and is tranquilized. At Gabe's, Catherine wants Vincent back in jail. Gabe claims he does not know Vincent's location and argues that Catherine will never find happiness with Vincent. He grabs her and says they belong together, but Catherine fights him off, knocking him into a sunken living room. She realizes she might have seriously hurt him. At the testing facility, scientists reveal they are after Gabe. Vincent plans to deal with Gabe and then returns since they track him. Vincent arrives at Gabe's apartment ready to kill him, but finds Catherine already there. Vincent saves Gabe after Catherine knocks him down. They share relief and a hug. JT jokes about the situation. Back at Catherine's apartment, Heather admits the party was a way to hide her fear after being kidnapped. Beth reveals she was traumatized by seeing Zach beast out. Catherine feels guilty for attacking Gabe, but Vincent says she is allowed to be angry. He tells her she doesn't always have to care for everyone, and it was good for him to clean up the mess this time. Without her attack, Vincent might have killed Gabe and been in worse trouble. JT watches over Gabe, who is handcuffed. Catherine tells Gabe he lost, which makes her sad. Knox calls Vincent saying he has been mysteriously exonerated. Vincent takes Knox to the testing facility but finds it empty. He concludes they only wanted his blood and left. Back at Gabe's apartment, JT tries to act tough but finds Tess softer than he thought. They kiss and decide to wait before acting. They check on Gabe, who has beastified again and escapes by smashing his balcony window and jumping out, leaving JT and Tess stunned. Vincent and Catherine return to the motel. Catherine worries about Rebecca's journal, but Vincent prefers to focus on better things than old beast owner stories. In 1854, Alistair is running from an angry New York mob. Just as he is about to get shot, Rebecca saves him. She warns him to hurry and go down an alley, telling him not to chase after someone because that is what the real beast wants. Rebecca explains that the man hunting Alistair has become a ruthless beast and is framing Alistair for murders he did not commit. In present-day New York, Catherine wakes up with a journal on her lap. She is obsessed with the story of Rebecca, who loved Alistair and supposedly killed him. Vincent wants to focus on breakfast instead of old history. Then JT arrives with urgent news. Gabe has returned and is now a beast again. JT, Catherine, and Tess go to a churchyard where they find Gabe transformed into a dangerous proto-beast. They discover that Gabe has killed a woman named Beth. Tess tells JT to leave and go to his lab, while reporters swarm Vincent at the crime scene. The reporters' questions remind Catherine of the past when Rebecca and Alistair faced similar accusations and suspicion. Vincent wants to kill Gabe immediately, but Catherine convinces him to wait until she talks to Agent Knox. However, during the call, Gabe kills Knox by ripping out his heart. Vincent insists on killing Gabe. JT warns that Gabe, using a powerful serum called the Windsor strain, is much stronger than Vincent and could easily kill him. Back in 1854, the mob grows angrier, claiming the beast has struck again. In a dark building, the second beast growls, and Alistair calls it out by whistling. Alistair beasts out and fights the beast, but the other beast gets the upper hand and throws Alistair out a window. Rebecca rushes to him. In the present, JT searches for Vincent on surveillance cameras, but instead finds Gabe in Chinatown. Gabe is acting calm, drinking tea, trying to lure Vincent out. When Vincent arrives, Gabe reveals he became a beast to protect Catherine from Vincent. Before Vincent can attack, JT and Tess shoot him with a tranquilizer and take the half-conscious Vincent to Catherine. At the gentleman's club, Catherine plans to lure Gabe using Vincent's blood. She asks JT to collect evidence linking Gabe to murders, and Tess convinces Ward to have a SWAT team ready. Catherine opens Rebecca's old diary. In the present, Catherine brings Vincent to a similar dungeon and locks him inside, placing the same kind of gem outside the cell. At the police precinct, Ward prepares the SWAT team and tells Tess that if the plan fails, he will go after Vincent. While Catherine sprinkles Vincent's blood on the ground, she remembers reading in Rebecca's journal and finally understands what her ancestor meant. In the past, the mob finds Alistair locked in the dungeon. They take him outside and burn him at the stake, believing him to be the beast. Rebecca watches helplessly as the love of her life dies in the flames. Catherine rushes to free Vincent from the dungeon. After unlocking the cage, Vincent tells her to get the gem out of his sight. Catherine explains that Rebecca tried to protect Alistair, but lost trust in him. Catherine and Vincent go to the gentleman's club and find JT badly injured and hanging from the ceiling. Paramedics arrive and Tess breaks down, realizing she loves JT and regrets being harsh to him. Tess goes with JT in the ambulance while Vincent prepares to fight Gabe. Catherine reminds him they need a plan. Vincent and Gabe meet in a back room. Gabe is confident and taunts Vincent, wondering if Catherine will accept him after he kills Vincent. They transform into beasts and fight. Vincent hesitates, and Gabe gains the advantage. Just as Gabe is about to kill Vincent, Catherine puts a beast collar on Gabe, forcing him to calm down. She tells Gabe they have enough proof to imprison him. Gabe slaps Catherine in anger and attacks her, but she defends herself by stabbing him with a pool stick. Vincent and Catherine rush to the hospital where Tess cries over JT, who is not expected to survive. Suddenly, JT shows signs of recovery, thanks to Agent Barnett. Vincent recognizes Barnett and pulls him aside. Catherine joins them, and Agent Thomas arrives. They explain they used experimental nanoplasma to heal JT and offer Vincent and Catherine a job to catch beings worse than beasts. They give them time to think. Barnett tells Vincent to monitor JT's T-cell count closely.